Freedom, man. That's what it's all about. You've got to groove on freedom like the good book says.
Welcome. You are listening to What on Earth is Happening. This show will discuss the topics of human consciousness, mind control, natural law, the occult, and all issues that affect the freedom of the people of Earth. What on Earth is Happening will endeavor to shine light upon the darkness of our world and to offer empowering solutions to the problems we face as humanity approaches its critical moment of choice. And now, here is your host, Mark Passio.
Welcome, one and all. You're watching What on Earth is Happening. I'm your host, Mark Passio. My website, whatonearthishappening.com. Ladies and gentlemen, government is slavery. Is now, always has been, always will be, until we decide to end it once and for all. And here on What on Earth is Happening, we are ending slavery one mind at a time. Thank you for tuning in today. Today is Sunday, April 14th, 2024. This is episode number 289 of What on Earth is Happening. We are continuing with the unholy feminine, neo-feminism, and the satanic epi-eugenics agenda, revisited and extended part 11 this week. And as always, What on Earth is Happening is a show of cumulative knowledge, which means that if you are a new viewer to the show, you should not watch from this show forward. Instead, if you're new to this material and you haven't watched all of the previous episodes of the podcast, I know that people insist that they can just understand everything that I'm talking about, but I can assure you, you require the prerequisite knowledge from the earliest episodes to understand the totality of what I talk about on recent shows. So if you're a new viewer, do yourself a favor and go back to episode number 1 on my podcast section of my website, whatonearthishappening.com, and listen and view the shows in order without skipping around at your own pace, because this knowledge is a stepwise progression, meaning the later episodes require knowledge from the earlier episodes. You don't read the last page or two of a book first. Well, you do if you're an idiot. But most people who are reasonably intelligent and want to get the most out of the knowledge that they are taking in would not read the last pages of a book first. They would read it in sequential order as the book is intended to be read. What on Earth is Happening is essentially a course of esoteric knowledge that is structured in a very specific way to unlock and expand a human being's worldview, which is the thing that needs to be changed the most. And it's the problem that we have in the freedom community and in the truth community, is people bring their nonsensical, imbecilic worldview into the truth and freedom movement with them, refuse to change their own worldview, and then believe that they're magically going to get things changed and accomplished for the better, when it doesn't work that way. In order for change to happen in the external domain, your worldview in the internal domain must change first, and it must bend to truth, not your subjective opinion of what you think is. So, I'm going to do some housekeeping announcements first, as always, and then we'll jump into the material to continue with The Unholy Feminine, Revisited and Extended. Thank you, as always, to Will Keller for the title card artwork that he provides each week. For the last 2 weeks, I've been on a mini mid-season hiatus. First of all, 2 weeks ago was Easter Sunday. I know most people are with their families during that time. I took that off. I took off last week to just have a day to myself and relax and chill. And so we're back at the grind this week. Let's go over some housekeeping announcements. Of course, we are on a 3-hour format again with my producer Mike in-house with our traditional multi-camera setup from January through June. Starting in July, I teach the How to Become the True Media seminar weekly. So the show goes on hiatus until next January. We are now streaming on 10 different social platforms, including the WhatOnEarthIsHappening.com website, the OneGreatWorkNetwork.com website, and on the social media platforms Telegram, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, X, Rumble, Odyssey, and DLive. Pardon me. Available now at my gifts area at What on Earth is Happening donation gifts. The website is gifts.whatonearthishappening.com. The following presentations now available on flash drive and DVD. Government is Slavery, originally presented at the Great Create back in May of last year, now available. The Real 7 Deadly Sins, originally presented at Freedom Under Natural Law 3 conference in June of last year, available on flash drive and DVD. Technology's Critical Role in the War for Freedom, originally presented at the Seed 5 conference in September of last year, available on flash drive and DVD. The big one, Two Masks, Same Face, The Dark Occult Origins of Nazism and Communism, part of what I would consider my magnum opus, my personal contribution to the great work. An 8-hour presentation that I am extremely proud of structuring and delivering, and really happy with how it all came out, now available on flash drive and DVD. And then Why We're Losing, given as part of the Greater Reset 5 in January of this year, also available. This is subtitled 7 Reasons the Freedom Movement is Failing. And part of that is they're not expanding and opening up their worldview and absolutely not understanding the world of the occult. And, you know, I can't believe how resistant the actual freedom community is, especially the anarchist community that I've spoken to, you know, pretty much endlessly ad infinitum at events like Anarchapulco, at, local anarchist functions and mini conferences. And I just really think that people are never really going to get the full understanding that they need to really defeat the people who are the current masters of this planet, the current enslavers, the current mind controllers and social engineers. We have a population that's simply too dumb. And that includes the bulk of the anarchist community. They're just not as smart as they believe themselves to be, and that's the problem. I keep trying to tell people, don't believe everything you think, and certainly don't think that you have the situation figured out. You're probably just not that smart. And it's sad. It's sad to have, it's really a very sad situation to even have to speak that to another human being, to say it on the airwaves. But it's, we're losing for very specific, valid reasons. And I see no turn in that tide. Zero. Absolutely zero. As a matter of fact, I see people becoming far more hardened against the truth, far in far deeper resistance to understanding any esoteric knowledge or any occult knowledge, far deeper resistance than ever before. I think we were in much better, way better shape and condition as a species and as a budding movement, if you even want to call it that. I don't even know if it ever was that. I tell people we never had a freedom movement. We always just had a My Freedom movement, and we still do. Yeah, there's a My Freedom movement out there. There's a bunch of selfish people who just want government to go away for their own selfish interests, but they don't really have agape love activated inside of them. They have no true spirituality activated inside of them. They don't understand the tactics of the occult world. They don't even know the enemy that they're up against. They're completely delusional and unconscious regarding all of it. And I see no indication that that's changing on any kind of a level at the scale that it would need to change at for us to actually come out on the other side any better. We're not coming out of this with any more freedom. We're not coming out of this with any more prosperity. We're going deeper and deeper and deeper into the toilet bowl of the cosmos is where humanity is headed, and especially where the so-called anarchist community and so-called laughingly called a freedom movement is headed. You don't have the knowledge that you require. You don't have the worldview that you require. You don't have the spirituality that you require. And most of all, you don't have the care that you require. Your care is deadened because all it's about is your own selfish interest, and it's not actually about care for the truth and care for all. Care for every being to be free of suffering and to actually be free of tyranny. That's what agape form of love is. And I'm going to belabor this. I understand this isn't going into the slides and into the material, but when I feel I have to really reiterate something, and that's my job, and that's my name. I'm Mr. Broken Record. You know, I call myself that. That's my own nickname for myself because I endlessly repeat shit. And imagine if you're teaching a remedial class of grade school students. You're teaching them remedial arithmetic. They can't master addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Okay? And you're just trying to teach them the very basics of mathematics. And it's the same students. It's the exact same people. It's not a different class every year. It's the same students. And you start when they're 5 or 6, and you try to teach them basic arithmetic. And every member of the class fails. And then next year, they're 6 years old, and you try to teach the exact same material, and there's no flaw in your teaching method. You know, many other people have vetted and verified you're able to teach just fine. You're not confusing. You're spot on in how you're presenting the material. And then when they're 6 years old, they come back, they take the same people, take the same class, and they all fail it again. And then they're 7 years old, they come back the next year and they fail it again. And they do this for year after year after year after year after year until they're 40-year-old fucking imbeciles. And you're still teaching the same people every year the most basic arithmetic skills, and every one of them fails the class every year. You'd be a little bit frustrated. And if you say that you wouldn't be a little bit frustrated, you're a liar. You see, and that's my situation. And what I need to do is just get out of the idea that these people can ever be taught. They're dumb monkeys who will never get it. They're too dumb. They're too mind controlled. They've been mind controlled into a state of hardened resistance against reality. And people like that do not deserve anything but suffering and tyranny. That's what they deserve, and that's what they shall have. So what I need to do is not try to release my personal anger about it, because I think it's such a maddening and angering situation, because the stuff that we need to know is not rocket science. It can actually be very easily received if the moronic imbeciles in the freedom and truth movements, and then the moronic imbeciles in general society, in the general population, get their own stubborn, calcified, satanic egos out of the way. And unfortunately, they are unable to do that because stupid people can't say the words, "I was wrong." That's the phrase that gets your ego out of the way. And they're like, "Mark, you're talking like you know it all." Let me see if I can get the voice right. "Mark, you're talking like you know it all." No, I never said I knew everything. I told people I know the dynamics that lead to true freedom, and I know the dynamics that lead to human slavery. And I'm not going to tell people that I don't know those things because I know those things. See, if you actually know something, then you shouldn't be falsely humble about knowing it. You should just tell people the truth that you know it. I know how to teach people computers. I'm a computer expert. I'm not going to tell people, I don't know anything about, I really don't know anything about computers. So I have no business teaching a computer technology course that's going to help train potential new content creators. I'm too humble to admit that I know anything about computers. Wrong. I know a ton. I'm an expert in that field. Just like I'm an expert in the field of how consciousness either creates freedom or creates tyranny. I'm an expert in that field, and I've done nothing but dedicate my life to that understanding. And I perhaps know more about that than any living soul. And I'm not going to be falsely humble and tell somebody I don't know what I know that I know. The problem is when really uninformed people who haven't actually acquired the knowledge that they need believe that they have all the knowledge that they need. And that's the truth and freedom community, if so called. Wrap a healthy set of double quotes around that phrase in our world today. You guys believe you know what you need to know when you don't know what you need to know. There's a difference. I said that I was wrong a billion times. You guys didn't. You think you know it all. You don't. Stop believing everything you think. You're not that smart. That's the problem. And the people out there who do get it, I'm not talking to you. The people who I'm talking to, you know who I'm talking to. You know I'm talking to you. And we'll get into who I think those people are. And I just want to try to reel in the anger that I've been expressing over the last several weeks. And instead, I want to transition it to mocking ridicule. To absolute comic, mocking ridicule, because we're not dealing with people. We are dealing with fucking clowns. You're clowns, and you're part of a fucking circus. And I got just the thing. I finally found it, folks. I've been looking for one for a long time. And I've been going to website after website, and I could not find an original because these are antiques, and they're hard to find today. You can get cheap, shitty knockoff versions of them. But I finally found one in my own mother's house, who had this the entire time that I've been looking for one. And this is going to be the new clarion call. It's going to be this is the new bat signal for the so-called truth and freedom community, okay? We got a new bat signal. We got a new air raid siren. And this belonged to my stepfather, who had it on an old bicycle. He passed in 2018, but this was found in my mother's garage this weekend by me. And I couldn't believe it when I picked it up. I'm like, I've been looking for one of these for years. This is an old school, original Groucho Marx style taxi horn. And you've heard me blow off the one that I have on the show periodically, and it's a little rinky-dink toy. This is a real one. And I finally got a hold of an old school Harpo, I said Groucho Marx, I meant Harpo Marx, an old Harpo Marx sounding horn. And here we go. This is the clarion call to the truth and freedom community out there, because what you guys are, and this is about 98% of you that still doesn't understand the occult world, still thinks you have enough information when you don't. You're part of the Dunning-Kruger effect. The Dunning-Kruger effect is you're actually very unintelligent people who actually believe that you're smarter than people who are actually much smarter than you. So it's the kind of people that you don't have any of the knowledge that someone like myself has, and yet you'll tell me I'm wrong and you're right, when you've looked into zero of the information and I've looked into the practical totality of it. You're clowns, and you wear the biggest, reddest, flashiest, glossiest, shiniest, flopperoo clown shoes that can ever be made or sold in the world. And this is your song for all eternity. Here it is. There it is, folks. I finally got a genuine one. I finally got one that puts out the exact right tone that I've been looking for years. Here it is. This is the truth and freedom movement and most of the anarchist community. Not all of it, but the good majority of it. There you go. Here you go. Hit it from this angle. Hit it from up here. We'll hit it from here. There it is, folks. That's your air raid siren. That's your bat signal. There it is. And this is what I'm just going to do with people. I'm just going to mock you fucking mercilessly like you deserve to be mocked. And that's it. You know? I mean, what else can you say about a fucking group of loser people who just don't want to learn what they need to know and believe that they have it figured out? And what have you accomplished? You're not creating true freedom. You're not even close to it. You know, you think you're going to keep going on and on doing the same thing, and you think it's any different than the fucking people in the left-right paradigm in the political movement. It's no different because you haven't learned the truth about what the dynamic that creates freedom, which is deeply understanding true objective morality and natural law and develop true spirituality with the agape form of care. I want to get into briefly, before we go through the rest of the slides, people have to stop thinking that emotion translates to care and spirituality. And what I mean by that is, when you hear people try to describe love and care, it's like, do you actually have love of truth? Do you actually have true care for truth and what needs to be done? Right? See, a lot of people out there can deeply emote. They have deep feelings. They feel things really intensely. That's not agape love. I'm sorry. But if you believe that agape love is deeply emoting something from a perspective of emotions, you don't understand what agape form of love is. See, the eros form of love, which is love between partners, life partners, or just people who deeply care for each other, that is an emotive form of love. Even familial love, like the love of one's family members, the love of one's brothers and sisters, the love of friends, that's also emotive love. Agape is different than that. To have agape, you don't have to have gushy, emotive feelings coming out of your body or even coming out from other people. Agape means you deeply care for the truth and you want to learn all of the requirements for what it's going to take to make humanity free and not continue to be under the spell of tyranny and self-inflicted suffering. And that doesn't have to involve deep, gushy, emotive feelings. What it really entails is that you learn what's necessary to learn. You learn all of the requirements for creating that manifested state that you say you want to see. And then you selflessly do whatever is required to make that condition occur in reality, to make it manifest. It's not about, I have to love everybody so much with all these emotive, crazy emotions coming out of me. That's the lower forms of love. That's eros and philos. That is not agape. Agape means I care so much for what's true. I care so much for what is right. I care so much for what is just that I am going to discover through knowledge the requirements of what must be done. And then I am going to do those requirements, and I'm going to teach everyone within the potential earshot of what those requirements are and what role they must step into and do action-wise. It's not just about what you know. It's not just about how you feel. It's ultimately about what you do to push this spiritual war forward instead of keep falling back. And I've been trying to explain this to people in innumerable different ways over the last 17 years, and I'm just sort of resolved that they will never understand. They are too ignorant, they are too dumb, and most of all, they are too uncaring. They haven't truly developed agape love. I see it everywhere. I see it everywhere. This community is practically devoid of the highest form of love. They believe that this is about self-serving interest, gaining a bigger amount of freedom for themselves. They don't really care about what's true. They don't really care about natural law. They don't really care for truth. They want their worldview to reign supreme. They don't want to adjust or expand their worldview. They want to stay inside their little fucking rinky-dink childish box of their bullshit religious notions of what they think is true in their own minds, and they're never going to meet the requirements for freedom. This race of people is completely fucking doomed. And I didn't say it's not possible. I never said it is impossible. We are willfully choosing doom because we won't get our satanic mindsets out of the way. And that goes for all of the religious morons out there that believe in Christianity or Judaism or Islam or Hinduism or even Buddhism. You're stuck in a fucking rut of a paradigm that is not going to give you the answers you need to become free. You have to transcend all of that and get to what the natural requirements in reality are for actually conquering tyranny and becoming free. And most of the people out there within the sound of my voice, you're just too dumb to understand. For the people who do actually understand what I've been saying over the last 17 years, I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking about you. Delineate who I'm actually speaking to versus who I'm not speaking to. This is part of discernment. If you characterize the things that I just talked about, and a lot of people do, I'm talking about you and to you. If you don't characterize those things, go on as usual. Great that you transcended that condition and continue with the great work if you're doing it. The problem is almost everybody out in the whole world, on this whole planet, is actually characterized by those shortcomings that I just explained. And they're not making any strides to better themselves. They're not making any strides to better their own understanding. They're not expanding their worldview. And I talk about this in this presentation, which is why it's called Why We're Losing. We are losing for very specific reasons, and I see no sign of our loser ways abetting and turning toward winning ways. When they do, I'll be the first to let you know, because I have my finger on that pulse, and I'm very good at gauging where consciousness is at. And I'm telling you right now, the consciousness of the people of this earth is in the shitter, is where it's at. And it needs to come way up out of the shitter and ascend to a far higher level of awareness than it's currently at for us to make any dent in the satanic control over the people of this planet. So one of the ways that I try to contribute to making a dent in that tyranny is I teach people how to become content creators. See, it's not like enough that I actually have to teach them objective morality and natural law. They have no life skills either. And I'm not insulting anybody who's trying to take the class and better themselves. You guys are ahead of the curve by 99% compared to most people. But it's like, not only don't people know how they have to expand their mind, their consciousness, their knowledge, their worldview, they don't have any life skills as an adult. We have a whole population of people with practically zero life skills. They don't know how to do anything. They'd be hard pressed to cut up food and feed themselves a meal, let alone to actually do what's required to communicate knowledge, important knowledge out there into the world and reach the actual really dumb idiots out there who are an even bigger portion of the Dunning-Kruger effect operating in our world. So, if you do have the basic knowledge and you do have the basic worldview that you need to have, but you don't have the life skills and the computer skills to go out in a public capacity and actually teach people what's going on all around us, you might want to look into taking How to Become the True Media, which is a 6-month seminar that I offer yearly from July through December. The enrollment for this year's seminar is now open, and I'm telling you, enrollments, we've been doing very well. I'm happy with enrollments, and what I just want to reiterate with people is, I'm telling you right now, you should not wait to enroll this year, because we're more likely than not going to hit where I have to cap the seminar. If you're waiting for the last week because you're saying, oh, I have bills to pay, or I got to do this, or money has to go here, I'm almost guaranteeing you're getting locked out this year. And I will not make an exception for one day. That's why I'm telling people, if you want to get into the How to Become the True Media seminar this year, you absolutely should not wait to enroll. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to even keep repeating it. If you want to wait, you're the one who's going to get locked out. And then don't beg me. Don't write to me. Don't beg me, because the answer is going to be, I told you this multiple times and you ignored what I said. So I'm just letting you know. I'm letting you know now. There will be no exceptions when people get locked out. That you will not be able to write to me and beg me to let you enroll. The answer will be no. Okay? I'm just saying that once and for all time right now. So, this is a 23-week-long skill set sharing seminar that deals with computing skills and life skills, hosted on the Telegram platform every Monday evening from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Time, starting July 8th, 2024, and going to December 9th, 2024, for a total of 23 classes. There is limited seminar space available, and I will cap it, and you will be cut off if you don't enroll in time. And that's why I'm also saying it's rude to enroll last minute. That creates more work for not only me, it creates more work for my organizational team for the seminar, who help me with enrollments, with processing enrollments and getting people into the Telegram group. It's not just an insult and adding work to my plate and pressure to my plate, which I don't need added to my plate. You're adding pressure to my helpers' plates, and that could make them so aggravated that they may not want to help. I don't think that particularly will happen, but it's just a rude thing to do, to say, I'm going to wait till the very last minute and then dump all this work on this team. We're not a big business. This is not a big corporation. It's me and a couple helpers that come in once a week to put some loose ends in order. That's it. Okay? So if you sit and wait and wait and wait, and then everybody all at once says, let me enroll the last 2 days of enrollment, you're pressing us in ways we don't need to be pressed. That's why I'm asking people to distribute the enrollments over the time period that you have to enroll, which is 90 days. If I'm giving you 90 days to enroll in this seminar, you shouldn't be enrolling on day 89 or 90. And I know most people won't listen. They're just too fucking hard-headed. But I'm letting you know it's sort of fucking rude. This is something I would not do myself. If I'm going to go and enroll in another content creator's class, I'm not going to say, let me dump a whole bunch of pressure that I know they're going to be under to take enrollments on the last week. If you're going to do that, there's no stopping. Nothing I can say can deter you from your course of action. But for the people who have any fucking care or consideration about the pressure that I'm under or my helpers become under because of stuff like this, please enroll in advance of the last week of the seminar. Okay? I don't think that's too much to ask. Because it's the same every year. We get a bunch at the beginning, it stalls in the middle, we get a bunch at the end. Can we just distribute the workload in between for the whole 90-day period instead of everybody dumping a bunch of work on our plate the last week, which is when I have to be doing technical testing for the seminar and get all my things that I want to present and teach together. That's when I do that in the weeks between, the couple weeks between when I start the hiatus of my show and when the seminar begins. And if everybody's just nonstop enrolling during that time period, you put double the pressure on me that needs to be placed on me. And most people never think about it because they're just fucking selfish. They never think about what's happening with anyone else. It's called not being raised with basic consideration for others. So, you can go to How to Become the True Media to enroll. Let me step out and show people that page. So, you'll notice I've placed a large Enroll Now button at the very top of the howtobecomethetruemedia.com website. Let me go full screen. Okay? And you can read about all of the, notes for the seminar, the donation methods that are accepted. Enrollment is open between April 1st and July 4th. These are the skill sets that we're going to be teaching as part of the curriculum. Operating system skills, file systems, disk formatting, file and folder management, workflow and best practices, word processing, text publishing, internet basics, networking basics, how to make a home network, searching the web, searching the dark web, graphic design, print publishing, how to build presentations, audio editing and publishing, video editing and publishing, live streaming, web publishing, internet sharing and collaboration, and we go over all the hardware that you would require to do any of these things. Now, I have been getting emails with questions that are answered on the web page and on the enrollment page itself. So once again, please do not write to ask me for any special payment arrangements. This is the thing people ask for every single year, which is why this year I put it on the website. Listen, be present, be here now. Be present. Empty your mind of all other thoughts and listen. There are no enrollment discounts. There are no donation plans. You can't pay a quarter, a half, a third. No, there are no donation plans over time. You have to enroll with the entire enrollment all at once. Do you understand what that means? It means do not write and say, can I pay you half up front and half right before the class? No! There are no enrollment plans. That means there is no breaking the payment over a number of payments. I don't offer that. Don't ask for it. If you don't have the money to enroll, you can't enroll. Oh, well. This is a private seminar open to people who make a private donation to the What on Earth is Happening, One Great Work Network, and How to Become the True Media Causes via a private donation that is said on the page how much it is right there. It's $523.93, which is unimaginably cheap for what I communicate in this seminar. And it says right on the page, there are no enrollment discounts, no enrollment donation plans, no partial enrollments, no enrollment date extensions. Don't ask for them. Do not, it says, please do not underlined and in bold, right to ask for any of these things. Folks, this is what I deal with. I deal with people that don't know how to read the English language. Why would you come to my site? It's proof people don't read. This is why we're in the mess that we're in to begin with, because people don't read. If you're going to take a 6-month seminar, I must be an anomaly in the world, because I would imagine you'd read the page regarding the seminar you're going to take. I mean, I know that's crazy shit, you know? That's crazy stuff. So, you can go to the website, howtobecomthetruemedia.com, read all of the enrollment notes, okay? I'm not going to go over them all again today like I have the weeks before enrollment, but I put a big honkin' enroll now button. That's what you hit to start the enrollment process. You hit the button at the top or at the bottom. Okay? You hit that, it's going to open a new tab in your web browser. It's going to take you to the enrollment page on donation gifts. And here it is. How to Become the True Media 2024 Seminar Enrollment. You hit Add to Basket. It goes into your basket. You hit View Basket. Okay? And then you hit Secure Checkout. And then it gives you the donation options. And I would have to log in. I'm not going to do that. But it'll give you the donation options. And the donation options are the following: Cash App, GPay, Wise, Zelle, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, Litecoin, Stellar, Monero, Theta, and Dash. If you don't have any of these, you can enroll. Well, you can, because you could ask for the address to send a check or a money order. Okay? So if you hit this, if you want to enroll by check or money order, I have the thing down here, the email address down here. See, if you wish to enroll by personal check or money order, must be received by July 1st. Send us an email and we'll give you the address to send your check or money order. You can click that link. But what I want to talk about briefly is, if you can't send electronic payment, if you don't know how to do that, don't click into the site yet. Get your payment method working first. If you don't know how to send crypto, learn that first. Then click enroll. Don't click enroll when you don't know definitively, I have this much in my account, I have this much in my wallet, and I can send it from person to person because I've practiced doing that and I know how to do it. If you don't know how to do that, you shouldn't click that enroll button. You should have all of that squared away first. Then hit enroll. Then when you put it in your cart and you hit checkout, you should immediately go and make your donation. You shouldn't wait 2 days. You shouldn't wait a week. You shouldn't wait even 24 hours. You shouldn't even wait 2 hours. As soon as you put it in your cart and then you hit checkout, you should immediately make the donation because you should have practiced being able to send digital money. If you don't want to do it that way, you write to us in that link I just showed you, and you say, I want to pay by check or money order, and we'll send you the address to do so. This is not hard, folks. This is not rocket science. We need to stop behaving like children. We need to put our big boy pants on. We need to put our big girl pants on, and we need to act like responsible adults. This is the reason we're losing, is because we have hardly any responsible adults in our world. We have complete grown children operating in our world. We have biological adults who have the mentation of a child operating in our world. And then we look around and we wonder, why are we enslaved? What happened? How do we end up in tyranny? Yeah, because it's a bunch of grown children operating all over the world, and this is their tune that they play. That's your theme song, you know? And I'm going to tell you who they actually constitute, and I'm probably going to burn some bridges. And guess what? If we burn some bridges, then bridges got to be burned. And if I can do some comedy without burning bridges, then so be it as well. But we might burn some bridges a little bit later. Okay? So that is the How to Become the True Media seminar. Enrollment is open. Go to How to Become the True Media. Click the enroll button. It'll take you to gifts. Fill your info out. Hit checkout. Put it in your basket, then hit checkout, and then make the donation if you want to enroll. Don't throw it in your basket and leave it for later. I'm going to delete the order. Don't check out and then not make the donation. I'm going to delete the order. Or we're going to contact you and say, hey, finish that donation because you placed the order, which indicates to us you want to take the seminar. So I'll probably have one of my helpers contact you if you do that. You know? It's disrespectful not only to wait until the last minute, but to blatantly and flagrantly disregard simple instructions that I put down. Just be a responsible adult and don't let the new clown horn bat signal and the slide whistle be your theme song. Okay? Just don't act like a clown. Act like a mature, responsible adult, which is what we need far more of if we're going to win the war for freedom. Okay? If you want to check out over 70 great content creators, go to onegreatworknetwork.com. This is the network of content creators that I put together over the last few years. And we're running strong there at onegreatworknetwork.com. If you can, please donate to the content creators. Once again, I want to say thank you so much for the wonderful, generous donations that were made by one of our donors to One Great Work Network to many content creators. Thank you so much. It's so much appreciated. Many, many, many people have written to me to express thanks to the generous donor in recent weeks. So thank you. And I hope that trend continues with many other people contributing to the content creators of One Great Work Network. Don't Tread on Philly meets for our second Wednesday happy hour every second Wednesday of the month. This is a social meetup for people who are concerned about the loss of human freedom. Second Wednesday of every month, 6 to 9 p.m. at the Dive in South Philly. Always free to attend. For more information, visit don'ttreadonphilly.com. or go to the Don't Tread on Philly page on Facebook that has the event calendar. Inquire and Inspire meets for their documentary movie nights on the third Thursday of every month, 6 to 9 p.m. at Arnold's Family Fun Center in Oaks, Pennsylvania. Always free to attend. For more information, visit inquireandinspire.com. The What on Earth is Happening IPFS project still ongoing at whatonearthishappening.com/IPFS. Call-ins to the show are taken via the Telegram platform at whatonearthishappening.com/call. People can listen in there, but I will not be taking calls today. We will be doing 3 or 4 whole call shows at the end of this series. ARC 2.0, the amazing repository of knowledge, is still available. WhatOnEarthIsHappening.com/ARC. It's a drive that you send to me and I send back to you, loaded with over 26,000 audio files, over 9,500 books, and over 3,400 digital videos from my own archive of research and data gathered over the many years that I've been doing this, and copied onto a 2 terabyte storage device that you provide, whether it's a solid state drive or a hard drive. That is your choice. Please, if you do follow me up on this great offer of the amazing repository of knowledge, please follow the shipping instructions exactly, and there will be no problems getting your property shipped round trip and get the data on it and get it back to you. If you don't follow the shipping instructions, there will be problems. There always are when the instructions are not followed. When they're followed, the process works perfectly. Again, experience. I know what to do because I've done it a million times. Most people who have never shipped a package don't understand the pitfalls that can happen if you do certain things. If you want to get any hard copies of any of my presentations, including the 5 new ones that I released, and again, they will be coming out for free within about another 70 days or so, something like that. Okay? You could visit to get hard copies of my work, including the One Great Work Collection Drive, flash drives, DVDs, promotional items, gifts.whatonearthishappening.com. That is What on Earth is Happening, donation gifts. If instead you would prefer rather to make a straight donation to the cause, whatonearthishappening.com/donate. Tons of ways to make donations, all the methods that we accept in gifts, plus the Amazon technology donation list. I believe there are a couple items up there. Not sure, but I believe so. That's all the housekeeping I have. Let's jump into our topic for today. And let me leave open this because I might go to our team of mascots, including Fred Sanford, Ralph Wiggum, the Vomit Puppet from Team America, our special squad, who I'm going to introduce for sure later, and the god of all humanity, Bobo the Clown. So we'll be hearing from them later. Let's go back into the slides for Unholy Feminine Revisited and Extended. We were talking about the concept in the distorted thought forms of the mind-controlled woman in our society of sex as money was the topic we were talking about last week. To the manipulated woman, the socially engineered woman in our society, which is most women, sex has largely become a form of commerce, a business transaction. The desire for money has become completely tied up and twisted into the motivation for any type of sexual relationship or contact. The mindset goes something like this, quote unquote, if I have sex with this man, what resources can I continue to get from him long term? This is unfortunately the mindset of the completely brainwashed, conditioned, and manipulated woman of our society today. And I could tell you it's almost every younger woman and even many older women think this way to this day. Men chase so hard after money for this very reason. Again, then men become brainwashed in their own right because they want contact with women so bad that they'll do anything that they're asked to do, including just chase money, do anything that's immoral, not be in right livelihood for the money that they earn. So men chase so hard after money for this very reason, to attract women who want money. Both genders still continue to prop up money as the most powerful religious belief system on this planet. And if you don't understand money is a religion, you're not paying attention. You should go back and you should listen to all of the information in the earlier episodes, because I explained money is probably the largest religion on this planet. And second, is the belief in authority. Money is an even bigger, completely widespread belief system than even authority. The belief in authority, the belief in some people have rights that other people don't, the belief in you must comply and do this or I can do harm to you because I'm your authority figure, is the second only to money as the religion of this planet. And again, there's no signs that this is abating. There's no signs that this is diminishing. There's no signs that this is changing for the better. It's getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And if you say that it's not, you're delusional. You don't understand what's going on socially. Or you live like a hermit, like an old fuck that never goes out socially, and you want to believe what is operating in your mind, but you're not actually interacting with the real world. That's what it is. It's a bunch of old fucks that don't go out, that sit in their fucking chair and fucking complain, and they want to say, that's not what the world is like, Mark. You're wrong. You don't have an accurate perspective of it. I actually go out and mingle socially in the world. I try to be a social creature. You know, I'm not one of these people that puts myself in a self-imposed fucking isolation prison. You know, I don't impose lockdown on myself like most people do. Most people are lazy fucking cowards who don't want to go out in the fucking world and socialize and talk and understand where other fucking people are at. They want to isolate themselves. They want to sit on their ass in their house in whatever comfort they can. Oh, I'm gonna have my comfy, my security blankie, and I'm gonna sit on my chair like an old fart for the rest of my life. I mean, you know how many people like this are out there in the world? Almost all older people do this. And then they want to try to tell someone who actually sees the dynamic almost every day, that's not what's happening, Mark. You're black-pilled, man. Yeah, I'm black-pilled. I can't see it fucking clearly. I'm a person who actually does socialize. They're a person who sits with their fucking thumb up their ass in a fucking recliner. But I'm black-pilled. I don't know what I'm talking about. The point is, you got to get up off your lazy ass. You got to get out into the world. You got to socialize, and you got to see what it is so you know what needs to be changed. This is the problem with most people. You can't even explain what needs to be changed because you don't interact with the fucking consciousness. Instead, you're inside playing your fucking instrument like, you know, you're playing all different songs all day. You know? You're trying to get creative, I know. Very creative types out there. You know? This is what people really need, though. I really need to stop being angry. Just let you have your fucking slavery. Let you fucking destroy everybody else, including your own fucking children and all the children that are going to come after you in the whole fucking world. And just mock you. Mock you because you're going to hell in a fucking handbasket. And you deserve mockery and ridicule. You don't deserve to be even treated with basic dignity and respect as another fucking fellow human being. You deserve ridicule and mockery heaped on top of you all fucking day long. That's what you deserve. A great deal of socially engineered women have come to generally accept that sex, from a man's point of view, is just the same whether it's part of an intimate relationship or he is paying a call girl or a prostitute for it, believing that since the biological act is the same, they carry equal value in a man's mind and among his emotions. And this is the thing. This is what has happened, is that women have basically prostituted themselves. They're saying sex is a money transaction in the world. And they're going to act as the prostitute in the transaction. And I'm trying to explain to people that sex is a biological function, that if it's something that does actually carry with it emotional impact and attachment, it is not the same act, even though it's biologically the same act, and even then it is not really the same. It is not the same act as just sex that does not carry with it emotional attachment. And again, people will say, that should never occur. And I'm telling you, that's a religious mindset. You're some guilt-ridden Catholic dunce if you believe that. If you're still the fucking person in the 21st century, the first quarter of the 21st century nearly over, and you still think, according to churchianity, that sex is some dirty fucking act that can only be sanctioned in the eyes of God if there's marriage and children, I mean, you're a fucking puritanical boob, okay? And I don't mean a breast, I mean a dunce. Okay? You're some puritanical fucking religious dunce. And that's the problem. There's so many stigmas attached to the sex act that it's like little religiously guilty children that can't even handle a discussion about human sexuality from a perspective of health and biology and emotional well-being. It's like you're distorting something that the creator and nature put here as such a beautiful dynamic, and you're distorting it into some religious bullshit notion that, oh, people only have sex when they want to have children and they're married. I mean, well, how fucking old are you? You know what I mean? And no, that is not some playboy notion of, oh, it's all just cheap shit. No, it's fucking natural. It's normal. It's something that shouldn't carry shame with it. It's something that shouldn't be fucking looked at from only a bullshit religious perspective like the assholes that do look at it that way see it. They're morons, and if you subscribe to their fucking bullshit religious viewpoint, you're a fucking moron too. This is what all religion sounds like to me. It's just all day long, religious thought, religious fucking, sputum coming out of people's mouth. This is all I hear. Sex is bad. You should only have sex in marriage. It's not about biology. It's just it's a sacrament. I mean, I can't even believe there's still people alive that buy into this bullshit. It's hard to believe that this is how much people are guilty and full of fucking shame over a natural function that nature provided to us. It's really awful. It really is awful. It really makes me want to fucking puke because I just can't believe how dumb people are. It's really sad. Don't write to me and tell me your bullshit religious perspective. You're going to get banned and blocked. I'm never going to read your shit. You'll have wasted your time. I'm not interested in your bullshit religion. Keep your bullshit religion to yourself. So, understand what I'm saying. Don't invent what I'm saying. This is another part of people not being able to hear my message. You hear what you want to hear. You don't hear what I said. You have in your mind what you think I said or I'm going to say, and I didn't say those things. You believe I said them. This is how dumb people think. They hear what they want to hear instead of what was actually spoken. And I'm going to repeat this over and over again every week. Get the shit out of your ears. Quiet your thoughts. Be present. Learn how to fucking meditate so that you can reel in and rein in your thoughts. The reason you can't stop your mind from chattering the fuck away while someone's trying to explain something to you is because you never learned to meditate. You have to learn how to meditate so you could stop the chatter, the monkey chatter going on up here that sounds like 1,000 monkeys clacking away, That's what your mind sounds like. You can't fucking get a word in edgewise because there's 1,000 chattering fucking monkeys up there. It's like 1,000 chattering monkeys in a big empty church. With all their fucking clack going on in a big fucking building with 1,000,000 echoes. And that's all you hear in your mind. You're not hearing what I'm saying. Your mind's fucking racing and clacking away. I invented a new term for people that go out to pubs and taverns and all they talk about is sports. It's sports quack. You got mind quack going on, mind clack and quack. And this is what people do. It's called sports quack. Quack, 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 quack. We're doing really good this season. Quack, 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 quack. Did you see that shot he just made? Quack, 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 quack. Boy, his stats are up this year. Quack, 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 quack. These people consider themselves adult men. They actually believe that they're adult men. Yeah. Quacking ducks. Quacking sports statistics nonstop. That's all you fucking hear. That's all they know how to do. It's all they've been programmed to do. They're a fucking program that's running in the Matrix. That's all they know how to do is quack sports. Sports quack. Yeah. It's a new language. It's one of the biggest languages spoken throughout the world today. Sports quack. By the way, I want to put it out there. I need a Mercy Comet logo made. You know, I got to start promoting for It's Only the End of the World Again Galactic Tour. I mean, I'm going out with Disaster Area, you know, Passio, Desiato. It's Only the End of the World Again Galactic Tour. One date only, Judgment Day, in the space lot of Millie Ways, the restaurant at the end of the universe. You know, don't panic, just be there. You know, this is going to be the biggest concert of all time, and I can't make my promo poster if I don't have a Mercy Comet logo, you know? I mean, my intergalactic, you know, hardcore punk band, you know, Mercy Comet. We got to get this show on the road, or not that many people are going to show up at Millie Ways. So, you know, somebody, please make me a Mercy Comet logo. You know, even if I get a few of them, I'll see if I can pick the best one. We'll have a little contest. Continuing on here, what I'm saying is, it is not the same act that carries the same intensity of emotion as simply having the biological act of sex versus having sex in a context of an intimate relationship that you do want to grow something with the person. They are different things. They are not the same thing. And that doesn't even have to necessarily mean a super committed long-term relationship. It's different for a man, for almost all men, if he simply is physically attracted to someone and doesn't really intend on carrying on a serious relationship of any form, and probably should be very upfront about that as well, if people are adults and can handle things like that, versus if they want it to be an intimate relationship or even something that goes long-term into the future at whatever pace. So, the prostitute has something that a man wants. So in the woman's mind, okay, it's like, so why not just exchange money for it like a business transaction, okay? So this is what's going on. Women believe that if there's any sex involved, money must be the transactional dynamic involved, just like a prostitute thinks. This is why I'm saying most women, especially younger women, behave in today's society like a prostitute instead of a regular member of the female population that might want to be involved in an actual relationship of some type. Again, it doesn't need to be long-term committed marriage, etc. But it's like a guy looking for some type of, physical dynamic that is going to be part of some type of connection with another person, whether it's, like I said, whether it's long-term, short-term, friendship, etc. It does not mean that it is the same as I'm forking over some money and I want sex in return. That's a prostitute exchange. And a lot of women see themselves as that, especially young women. And don't tell me it isn't happening. Don't tell me it's not all over the place. I see it everywhere. Oh, if we're going to have any physical encounter, you're going to have to pony up some money from my rent this month. I've heard it. I've heard it spoken aloud in my presence. So nobody's going to tell me this doesn't happen all the time. And it's not just some places. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's pay to play. You hear that all the time. Oh, I got bills to pay. So the guy that I get together with physically is going to pay my bills. I hear it constantly, all the time, all over the place. It's far more prevalent the younger the woman is than somewhat older women. The free will, voluntary, and mutual exchange of emotions and physicality as part of the genuine human sexual experience is not the same, is not alike to quote unquote paying for it in any way whatsoever. Why do you think a guy would want to try to get together with a woman that is going to say, if we're going to have sex, it's got to involve money? I mean, I would rather go and pay a call girl than have that. I would rather go pay a prostitute than have anything like that in my life. This is not the same. And women in today's culture are socially conditioned to think sex is just a monetary transaction. And once again, if you ignore that, if you think it isn't happening, if you think that isn't the way that it is predominantly, you are delusionally out of touch. You're delusionally out of touch. You're not just a little bit out of touch. You're completely delusionally out of touch. Again, you're probably an old fuck. You're probably an old fart that sits in the fucking house all day and never really truly socially interacts. You socially interact when you absolutely must, and then that's a very limited sect of society, and then you're back sitting in your chair with your thumb up your ass. And I'm the guy who will just say that right to your face. You're socially out of touch and you're an old fucking fart. Okay? The socially conditioned woman will often largely discount male emotions with this shallow view, which is actually a form of misandry or man-hating. They think men don't really care about that. They just want the biological act and they might as well pay me for it. And that's about as man-hating as it gets, and that's about as denigrating toward men as it could possibly get. If you don't think that men have emotions in the same way, not in the exact same way, but in a similar capacity to how women feel emotions when there's a physical dynamic in a relationship. If it is really just a physical thing, then yeah, guys can tend to keep their emotions out of that equation. But if they want a genuine relationship of some kind, even if it's a feeling out process to see if it's a good fit between people, or if it's a longer term thing, men bring emotions into that just like women do. And I think if men deny that, you guys are delusional or you're fucked up and you can't really feel emotions. You know, there's something fucked up in you. Just like people who can't feel anger, you're fucked up. And I know many people, I've never seen them angry except over stupid shit. There are people I've never seen angry over the things they actually should express anger about. And yet, I've seen the very same people angry over some of the dumbest bullshit imaginable. And I just want to say to people like that, you're fucked up. Something that should be active in your emotional makeup is broken and fucked up. And it's your responsibility to fix that so that you feel proper righteous anger that drives you into correct action. If you can't feel that anger and it doesn't drive you into right action, you're fucked up. You're psychologically and emotionally fucked up. And you're not doing the shadow work to fix it. And I know there's plenty of people out there who I'm talking about. I'll look you right in the face. You never express righteous anger. And that's why the most serious of serious topics is brought up. Child rape and murder, tyranny, enslavement. And people are just listening like, oh, it's it's like just, yeah, that's going on. Instead of being viciously angry and motivating oneself to take part in the battle against it. No. They'll sit there and go, oh yeah, I'm aware that that's going on. Yeah, that's a shame. It's a shame. And they'll say it just like that. And they don't think they're fucked up. You're fucked up. Somebody's got to tell you you're fucked up. And you're not doing the shadow work to unfuck yourself up. You're sitting there like, this is me, this is how I express my emotions. Yeah, tyranny's happening. Oh yeah, children are being murdered. You're fucked up, man. You're fucked up. And you need to do the shadow work to actually bring true emotion that should be emoted outwardly forward. Because that drives you into right action in the world. And sitting there like, yeah, I know, humanity's enslaved. And, I don't know, probably nothing will be done about that. And you're not even angry that that's the condition. And you don't even understand you're fucked up. That is not the proper emotional response that should be had. You're fucked up. And I'm telling you, this is the bulk of the truth and freedom community. You guys are fucked up. Inside, you're fucked up. And you're not doing the work to fix what's broken in you. You're content to just remain like that, thinking you're going to get the job done. You're not even a fucking being. You're not even a human being. You're something less than a human being, because human beings emote in an angry, negative way when injustice is present all around them. To be angry about that situation is to be human. You're something that is less than human. You've had your humanity severed and cut away and thrown in the fucking garbage. It got thrown down the fucking garbage disposal, and somebody turned the disposal on and ground it to fucking nothing. And you're hearing me and you can't understand, why is this guy so emotional? Why is he angry? Because I'm not fucked up the way you're fucked up. I'm operating correctly. You're fucked up. It's not the other way around. You're the one who's fucked up and doesn't have the proper emotional makeup inside of you. It's been fucking cut away like a fucking operation you didn't even know someone did on you. They open you up, they cut something out of you, and they threw it in the fucking garbage disposal and turned it on. And you still don't even know you're fucked up. You don't know you got robbed. You don't know somebody took something from you that belonged to you. You don't even know it once belonged to you. That's how fucked up you are. You gotta get angry about stuff that you should get angry about, and you gotta let go of petty bullshit that doesn't deserve your anger. More important of a dynamic to understand as sex as money is sex as a mechanism for control, which is far more what it's used for than even resources. And then, you add marriage into the equation, then you're really getting the fucking fish on the hook to a point where they ain't going to get out of that trap. Because then it's going to be half of all your resources and tied up in fucking courts for years. And what do you think? They're going to side with the man? That's why women love marriage. And that's why men have to let go of this fucking ridiculous religious bullshit institution that's not only religious, it's deeply tied in with the state. It means you brought the state into your relationship and they're going to dictate the terms of it. That's what marriage is, morons. That's what the institution called marriage is. You brought the state into a relationship between you and your fucking partner, and they're going to dictate the terms. And you're too dumb to figure that out. Many socially engineered women have been conditioned that it is perfectly acceptable to use sexuality as a means of manipulating and controlling men to do what they want them to do and to give them the resources they desire in exchange for sex, or even just for the promise of sex. Do you know how I call this dynamic dudes in tow? It's not MGTOW or MGTOW. Dudes in tow, like a ship that's being towed, or like you're towing something from one place to another. Like there's a leading boat and then they got a rope on it, or they got like a dog on a leash. He's in tow. The dude in tow, he's just like got an invisible noose around his neck, and he's being led by the woman in the relationship, in the so-called relationship. Men allow themselves to be controlled by sex. And the whole dynamic of control is the entire problem in all relationships. People want control over others instead of actually making it a shared partnership that is based on both people being whole, not you complete me. We're two wholes that come together to make an even stronger dynamic because we're not fucked up. And we've worked on our fucking shadow work, and we've worked on ourselves internally. And then you're combining efforts in the war for freedom. That's a real relationship. Anything less than that is some bullshit dynamic based on incompleteness, based on inferiority, based on not doing the work, not doing the shadow work, that is just going to add more problems to the dynamic than solve anything. So, we got to get out of this notion that sexuality is supposed to be a mechanism for controlling anybody. Oh, you didn't act the way I thought you should act. Well, sex will be withheld. Oh, I want you to do this thing for me, so I'll promise sex in return as the reward. This is ridiculous. So, while one could claim that this is not technically immoral behavior since it is voluntarily complied with on the part of the man, yes, they're agreeing to these stupid fucking terms, it is certainly a low consciousness view of human sexuality and the exchange of human energy, the exchange of energy in human relationships. Again, this is distorted energy. This is distorted relationship dynamic. This is distorted life force energy that could be used to act as a true bonding agent. Again, sexuality is a bonding agent. It's a glue. It's a glue of the familial dynamic within human society. And again, that does not necessarily mean that it has to take place only within the institution of marriage to act as that familial bond. It's a familial bond between male and female, ultimately. And you could say, okay, same-sex partners, that's another dynamic that the sexuality bond has. I would say it's the absolute strongest when it comes to male and female dynamics. Yes, it acts as the same familial bonding agent in same-sex partnerships, etc. But, if you ask me, the dynamic of male-female bonding, of the familial bond between man and woman, is the thing that the control system fears the most. That's why they want to keep the gender war running hot. They don't want this gender war to cool down. They want it to be a powder keg, and they want to ignite it. And they want men constantly at women's throats, women constantly at men's throats. And who buys into that even more deeply, I'm sorry to say, has been women in recent times because of this agenda of neo-feminism. It's not to say men don't fall for divide and conquer strategies, almost just as much, but I'm telling you, they've done an active number on women in our society. I was talking with a friend and just laughing last night, and I really shouldn't even be laughing about it. I should be putting my heads in my hand and weeping about it. It's sad. But we're like, neo-feminists so did it to themselves that they made men beat them at their own sports. This is how much you fucked up yourself. That you went so full circle in your nonsense and bullshit programming that you made men get involved in your own sports and beat you at them. This is where you're at. This is what neo-feminism did for women. It brought men into your own fucking sports, and we handed you your ass at your own sports. This is so, you can't make this shit up. I couldn't make that scenario up. If I tried to make a fucking fictional novel for 1,000 years, I couldn't make it up. Reality is that much stranger than fiction. And that's really hilarious in a way. And in another way, it's so fucking sad that I just want to put my head in my hands and cry all day. Because as I said, I consider myself a traditional, true feminist as far as equal rights for women, equal pay for the same labor. Great. Those are wonderful things based on real equality under rights that should happen. I want everybody to have the same rights. I don't want women to have any less rights than men. I don't want anybody to be controlled by anybody else. I don't want men to be controlled by women. I don't want women to be controlled by men. The control dynamic is the problem. It's what prevents true functioning, healthily functioning relationships, is somebody wants to be in fucking control of the other person. So, while one could claim this isn't technically an immoral behavior, it's complied with by the man, especially if he wants to be the dude in tow and be on a leash for whatever a woman wants him to do in return for sexual favors. To me, that's about as soft as it gets. Okay, that the guys in this photo, you're soft. SAWFT, soft. It's one of the worst things one guy could say to another guy, because you're not even talking about his penis. You're talking about his whole constitution as a biological male. You're soft. You let yourself get pushed around. You're a marshmallow. You got no gumption. You can't say no. You're so controlled by your biological impulses that you just let yourself be completely fucking controlled by the first attractive woman that comes along. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being nice to somebody, but once you start letting them fucking push you around and taking control, you're soft. And you should hear that as one of the biggest fucking insults that's ever been hurled at you, because it is. This is the entire thing when it comes to neo-feminism, when it comes to the epi-eugenics agenda. It's a satanic mindset. And no, Satanism is not the worship of the Christian devil. Once again, the two things that I've had the hardest time explaining to people is, what is the enemy? And how do we come to know the self? Because if you don't know either one of those, you lose every time. If you only know half of that equation, you lose at least half of your battles. If you know if you know both, however, and you know both really well, you're never going to be defeated. And people have to understand what the satanic mindset is. It is not the worship of the Christian devil. It is called Satan because it is the adversarial dynamic that takes place within the human psyche. It is the voice that says to you, be weak, be ignorant, be apathetic, be lazy. Let yourself be controlled, or try to control someone else. Don't admit that you were wrong. Don't admit that you were duped. Don't admit that you were played. You're too smart for that. That could never be the case. You have to stay the course and quadruple down and say, I was right the whole time, and I was never wrong, and I was never fooled, and I was never duped, and I was never played. You were duped. You were fucking played. You got to get out of the satanic mindset, and you got to admit it. You got to say I was wrong 100,000 fucking times. Not just once. You got to say it over and over and over and over and over again. The satanic mindset is ultimately the force that will not allow a person to say the words, I was wrong. It plays a major role in the psychology of neo-feminism. Again, if you can't say you were wrong about getting duped into the neo-feminist agenda as a woman, then you must like men kicking your ass at your own sports and winning medals in the sports you used to win medals in. And guess what? I say, best of luck to them. Just completely medal out. Let's not only take the gold, let's take the silver and bronze too, and just take them all out of their own sports. And then see, will they ever admit that they were wrong, or will they still quadruple and quintuple and sextuple and septuple down? No, they'll double down 1 billion times over, because the satanic mind has them. It owns them. They're in its possession. They're possessed. That's what it means to be possessed. Your mind is owned, it's held in a place, and it cannot go outside of those boundaries. And most people are too dumb to even understand that that's the allegory of what Satan is. It's not a person, moron. It's a dynamic in consciousness that makes you fail, that keeps you where you're at, that keeps you enslaved, that keeps you controlled, that keeps you dumb. And all it requires is it prevents you from saying the phrase, I was wrong. Once you can't do that, you're satanically possessed. You're owned for the rest of your fucking life until you say I was wrong. And most people would rather die. And they'll die 1 billion deaths over before they say I was wrong. The very first tenet of the satanic ideology is the dictum that, quote unquote, self-preservation is the highest law. Put in other words, the survival and comfort of the physical self and the ego is always a more important goal than doing what is morally right. Live only for yourself and care only about you and yours. If you must step on other people to get what you want, then so be it. For this is a dog-eat-dog world, end quote. The ideologies that clearly define the overarching worldview of Satanism is perpetual me thinking, ego gratification, hedonism, and always wanting to be in control, and never acknowledging that you were duped or you were wrong or you were played. You were played the fool. You got scammed. You got owned. You got punked out like a bitch. And you don't want to acknowledge it. You don't want to admit it. That's what Satanism is. Satanism is a mindset that says, I can never be wrong. And once again, if you're hearing me thinking I'm saying I'm never wrong, I told you, in my past, I had to sit and get my head straight. And I had to admit over and over and over and over and over again all the things I was wrong about, and then straighten them out and get them right with the truth, get them right with nature, get them right with the Creator. Would you agree that the vast majority of individuals in our society subscribe to such a satanic worldview? I would say it's not a matter of how many people are in the satanic mindset. You got to ask the question, how many people have ever gotten out of it? Almost the whole world is captured and enslaved and possessed by this mindset. Almost the whole world. I call it mini-me Satanism, which is why there's Dr. Evil and Mini-Me from the Austin Powers movies. Because the real big Satanists are cloning their mindset into the little form, which is the population. You got to look at Dr. Evil as the master Satanist, the master dark Luciferian who's really running the world. And then Mini-Me is the clone that he's making by cloning his own mindset and injecting and inculcating that mindset into the population of the world. Mini-Me would represent the global human population of de facto Satanists, or mini-me Satanists, as I have called them. And Dr. Evil is the large satanic network operating to enslave them. It's like in Game of Thrones. The characters in Game of Thrones never even present the question, should there be a throne in the first place? They just want to chase it. They just want to own it. They want to sit on the Iron Throne. They don't want to destroy the concept of kingship. They don't want to destroy the concept of royalty. They don't want to destroy the concept of authority. They don't want to destroy the concept of government. They want to be in that position of power rather than destroying it. They never even pose the question, should a throne exist at all for any to sit upon? Because we shouldn't have the concept of human authority over others. This is how dumb people are. They run headlong into the arms that are enslaving them. The embrace of Satanism is not setting you free. It's enslaving you deeper and deeper and deeper into chains, bondage, tyranny, slavery, and ultimately death and extinction. And you run right into its arms. You run into the arms of the religious institutions. You run into the arms of government. You run into the arms of the medical system. You run into the arms of the educational system. All instruments of slavery. And you're too dumb to fucking see it. And then even the people in the so-called anarchist movement that won't see the influence of the occult world. They won't look into anything esoteric. Oh, that's spooky. Oh, I was told there's nothing to that. That's just stupid quaint religious nonsense. Oh, I don't believe anything that has anything to do with anything. Well, you know what? You don't need to fucking believe in it, boys and girls, because The people who are really running the show, they deeply believe in it, and they already fucking own your sorry ass. And they're going to continue to fucking own and punk you like a bitch. Because you're too dumb to understand what they're doing. You're too dumb to understand your master's mindset. They fucking know everything about your mindset, and they can play you like a little fucking fiddle, boy. That's how they can play you, son. Once again, here's your song. This is your song. Yeah, you'll get better at that. I know. You'll make it sound good. It'll make you feel good. You'll emote real nice and well with your shiny, happy feelings, with no anger and total ignorance of the occult. And they'll be giving you your bat signal. You know, they'll be putting your bat signal in the clouds. It'll be a big fucking A with the circle. You know, playing that tune. And this is what this is how dumb people are. You believe you're going to get out of this fucking mess without more knowledge of how Satanism operates in the world. You deserve your chains, and your children deserve theirs. Because the sins of the father are visited upon the sons. The children born into the world are going to inherit the chains that you put upon them. Because you're not teaching them what they need to be taught. Everybody in the world, they're taking one or the other. See, they're taking the position of, I'm going to take my role in the abuse victim cycle. I'm either going to be the dominator or the doormat. I'm going to be the abuser or the abused. Never thinking, how could I step outside of the abuse victim cycle? Never thinking, maybe we should end the cycle of abuse. No. I have to take my role in the cycle of abuse by identifying with the abuser and becoming the dominator, or by identifying with the victim and becoming the doormat. And that's what male-female relationships have largely become in the 21st century. What has now become attractive to the conditioned woman is the inauthentic alpha male, the dominator or the controller. They believe that's an alpha male. I'm going to come in here with my actual, real, toxically masculine dynamic, and I'm going to control everybody and everything. And some women are still attracted to that. Mostly today, they've gone completely 180 degrees, and they're now attracted to the doormat. They're attracted to the beta cuck, the so-called beta male, who's a doormat who seeks to be controlled. Also called the mangina, by the neo-feminist community. A guy who's a pussy, who's a vagina, to just spell it out blatantly. And neither one of these should be the goal. A guy should not be a dominator or controller or a doormat / mangina. Okay? The inauthentic woman, unfortunately, today now desires the corporate Cosmo man, the metrosexual, the androgynous hipster, the inauthentic man of every kind. The last thing a woman wants is an actual, genuine, authentic, spiritual alpha male who embodies true masculine energy, true masculine strength, the true emotions that need to be displayed to defeat tyranny, and all the knowledge and possessing the requirements that are required to defeat tyranny. Women want nothing to do with that dynamic, and never have, because they've been told by the social engineers since humanity has existed, you go nowhere near that. You don't interact with that, don't breed with that, don't even relate with that. You want to destroy that. That's ultimately what neo-feminism is. It wants to continue to breed the inauthentic forms of masculinity, and it wants to extinct the authentic form of masculinity. Let me say that again, because that's the crux of this whole presentation. Epigenetically, through what women are conditioned to find attractive and desirable. What neo-feminism and the satanic epi-eugenics agenda is doing in the world is getting women to be completely uninterested in interacting with or having any dynamics together in a relationship with the true, authentic male, and to breed that out of society. They don't want the authentic alpha spiritual male. What they want is women to be completely attracted to the inauthentic man of every kind, whether he be the inauthentic alpha male, the controller, the dominator, the toxically masculine, or the beta cock male who just lets himself be walked all over like a doormat and controlled by a woman. That's all they want in society, is the latter kinds of inauthentic men, because that invariably leads to tyranny, and the kind of men that breeds can never defeat tyranny. It'll be locked in forever. This is the ultimate goal of this agenda, which I've been building to and explaining, trying to get people to understand what they want to create epigenetically in society. And epigenetically means they're doing it beyond genes. They're conditioning the minds to be attracted to that dynamic. Then men become that dynamic because they want the attraction that comes from women. Once you have the women's mind and you can condition it to be attracted to certain things, the men and the children follow that dynamic. Every tyrant throughout world history understood that principle. Unfortunately, the retards called humanity don't understand that. They don't understand the mentation of their enslavers. Men also fall for this programming through TV, movies, mainstream media, magazines, and pop music, and seek to become what the conditioned woman is attracted to, a dominator or a doormat. This is dominator or doormat syndrome, as I call it. DOD syndrome, dominator or doormat, pick one, because that's all women want. That's all the modern, completely mind-controlled woman wants nowadays. DOD, dominator or doormat. Doesn't stand for Department of Defense. It stands for DOD. And you start that way, you're going to become a fucking dodo. We're going to add another fucking O and you'll be the dodo who goes extinct. That's where we're headed. And you know what, folks? Once again, you can't point the fingers at the elitists of society, as people will call them. I say that they're the fucking bottom of the fucking garbage can of society, but people want to call the actual people who are in control, the people who are the social engineers, who are the mind controllers, the elitists. I don't really care what you call them. It's not ultimately them that are the problem. It's the dumb public who falls for their bullshit that is the problem. If you haven't seen that yet, you're an apologist for humanity. And the reason people continue to choose dominator or doormat in all of their relationships, the reason that they continue the abuse victim cycle is because they're really fucking retarded. They're just retarded. They're literally so low IQ that they are actually dumber than people with the fucking actual condition of physical mental retardation. You're dumber than those people with Down syndrome. That's a legitimate, sad disease in the genomic dynamics of humanity that manifests itself in that unfortunate condition. I'm telling the people of this world who buy into all of this mind control nonsense, for that lie to be sold, it's got to be bought. And the people who are buying these worldview lies, you're way more stupid than an unfortunately Down syndrome afflicted human being. They have some very aware, innate common sense that you lack. You're actually far less holistically intelligent than actual retarded people. And If this burns bridges, it burns bridges. But here we go. I introduced to my team, my host of mascots, last week, the new dynamic, the last time I did my show, the new dynamic of this group of folks. This is a popular meme out there. And I said, this is where most people are at, especially in the truth and freedom movement. Okay? And I gave you a theme song because regarding the material that I present, and this is where my material is going to go, folks. I'm going to turn this into a comedy show. I got to turn it into more of a comedy show than blasting outrageous amounts of anger into the world that morons don't even understand. So I'm just going to mock you mercilessly. You deserve ridicule and derision just like your satanic masters give you. But I'm going to hit even harder than they do. I'm going to just put it right out in the open and tell you what you are. I'm going to play your theme song. Here's one of your theme songs.
Never gonna get it, 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 never gonna get it. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Is it coming through? Cool.
Never gonna get it, 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 never get it.
Okay, there's your theme song, folks. Never gonna get it. Okay? I could explain this from now until the universe passes into quantum infinity and goes back into the quantum foam of existence. And you still wouldn't understand. Because this is who most people are. And I finally realized who this photo was of. And yes, this is a photo. This is an actual photograph. It's not a line drawing. Okay? And sorry, my producer's trying to tell me something. Just mute my mic for a minute.
Headphones on the mic.
Got it.
For music.
It's loop. So should I to explain who this is? Because I used it last week and I completely didn't recognize who this was a photo of. And, I should be better at pattern recognition than this because I actually was given this photo and I should have immediately recognized who was in the photo and I did not. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time pictured anywhere in this very, very awesome photograph, this is Team Humanity! Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Team Humanity. There it is. Team Humanity seen for the very first time in an actual, authentic photo. Team Humanity! There they are, folks, in all their glory. There's Team Humanity. Now we know who they are. Now we're aware of who they are. And again, like I said, bridges may be burned, feelings may be hurt, but it's still true. Nonetheless, it's still true. And anybody who wants to dispute that that's the case is delusional. That's Team Humanity, and we're up against the most incredibly powerful and intelligent sorcerers of consciousness that have ever lived. And we think with this team, we're going to beat the highest level satanic sorcerers that are running our world. It's a bigger joke than any comedian has ever attempted to tell, let alone told. And if we think that that's good enough and the bar is set high enough, we are deluding ourselves and everyone else. And we need to tell people, this is where you're at. It's not a good enough effort. And you need to do far, 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 far better. And you need to know way, 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 way more. Let's stop letting this be Team Humanity, but I'll keep calling that Team Humanity for as long as it actually is. And believe me, It is that. So this is why we live the dominator or doormat syndrome every day. This is why we perpetuate the cycle, the victim abuse cycle. This is why we still believe in government and royalty and authority. And this is why we don't bend the knee to God's law. We bend the knee to man's law. We condone and perpetuate man's law. We don't bend the knee to natural law, not even a little bit. We want to say our ways are better than nature's ways. Our laws are better than God's laws. We're going to usurp the position of the creator in the natural order of the universe, and we're going to become that God. And we're going to rule on earth instead of serving in heaven. Good luck. Good luck with that satanic mindset. Enjoy what you got. It's the best it'll ever be, and it'll get infinitely worse every single solitary second. Physical warfare in this dynamic, in this epi-eugenics war, is a big part of it. And again, this was another aspect of the presentation I had to sort of put the brakes on when I made it, and I could not include all of the material that I really wanted to include in this regard because it would have made the presentation far too long for the time I had to present it in. But there is physical dynamics to the epi-eugenics war via neo-feminism, and it is a war specifically on the compound testosterone in the human body, which is incredibly important not only for men but for women as well, as I will explain. A biological war is ongoing against testosterone. It is being waged on both men and women by the social engineers, by the epi-eugenicists. Testosterone is a vital hormone for the physiological and psychological health of both men and women. Now, let me just tell you about some things that I have noticed. Testosterone is so under attack because of largely the dairy that they inject meat with, that they inject animals who we call beef and meat with. They inject it into cows, they inject it into chickens, they inject it into pigs. They inject hormones that destroy testosterone and bend gender toward the opposing gender. People have called them gender-bending hormones. The place that they come out the most is when they're injected in the highest amounts into cows. They go into dairy. They not only go into the meat that is consumed, but they end up in the animal discharge that becomes our dairy products. This is why when people say meat and dairy are good for you, I would say they're completely delusional. You are taking in so much fattening, testosterone destroying, and gender bending injected hormones through the meat and dairy products that you consume, that you are just under complete bombardment through those so-called foods of the gender bending war. You are just bombarded by gender bending bombs, is what it is. And you don't even know because you haven't researched enough what's going on in your own so-called food. And the answer is really not, oh, just clean up that and get that out of our food supply. The answer is you're involved in a satanic ritual anyway with the nonstop murder of animals, which aren't ours to murder and consume. We are given what we all require regarding what grows abundantly on the surface of the earth for our food. And then imbecilic religionists, dumb Christians, want to say, God gave us dominion. Hold on. Let's hear from Team Humanity on the topic. I mean, they're the experts, right? Like Team Humanity would know. Human beings. Sorry, I really didn't want to play the music. Let me just step the slide back. Okay? Team Humanity would know if God gave us dominion over animals. So let's provide this question to Team Humanity and let them feel it. Team Humanity, yes? would you say that the creator of the universe gave us dominion over animals? Absolutely, Mark. But the animals belong to us. It's not their lives. We should keep them in the endlessly murdering factory farm system and keep the satanic slaughter of animals going 24/7 nonstop so that the archonic entities that feed off all the energy of this world can continue to have a feast. And we're providing them with it. Thank you. That's a very astute observation, Team Humanity. I couldn't agree more that, the Creator obviously gave us dominion over these animals. Their lives belong to us, not themselves. They're not individuated sentient beings. Some dumb book written by dumb people thousands of years ago told us that we have dominion over them. Oh, wait a minute. That's not written anywhere in that book, is it? It's not written anywhere in the Bible that humanity has dominion over the animal kingdom. No, we have stewardship, which doesn't mean we can do whatever we want with their lives. We're supposed to be caretakers. Caretakers doesn't mean slaughterers. It means taking care of. And it's actually said, the fruit of the trees and the seeds that bear fruit, that'll be your food. It's all written in the fucking Genesis. People, again, don't know how to read and come to accurate conclusions of what they read. It's not a matter of knowing how to read. It's a matter of understanding what you read. This is the problem with almost every Christian laughingly calling themselves Christian. And most of all, it's a problem with Team Humanity. Thank you, Team Humanity, for being my guest today, and we're out. So, if you want to know why most people's testosterone is in the shitter and they don't maintain energy and focus and weight, etc., and they go into slovenly states of existence and shape, it's because their testosterone level is basically akin to the opposite sex. I have had friends, not just people I read about. I have had friends feeling so low in energy that they literally went to the doctor because they thought they were sick, like bad sick, like not like a cold, like I might have cancer sick, And the doctor does blood work on them, and it comes back. And I've had a doctor tell one of my friends this, a personal friend of mine, a male, told this male friend of mine, your testosterone level is so low that you are biologically female by your testosterone level alone. This is the acceptable testosterone level of a biological female, and you are a biological male, and your testosterone is that low. Person's diet is all off, believing in the pill for every ill hypothesis, taking a bunch of chemicals, eating a bunch of dairy, eating a bunch of, animal product-laden foods, chemical-laden foods, etc., artificial sweeteners, and then wonders, staring around in disbelief. How is my testosterone the equivalent of a biological female? Actually said this aloud, in confusion about it. Not looking into their diet, not looking into what they put in their body, completely unconscious about that because I just want to taste stuff that tastes good. My creature comfort when it comes to my taste buds is more important than running an endless satanic slaughter factory that pollutes the energy field of the entire planet because this is operating all around us 24/7. You don't have to, you could go 5 miles and find a slaughterhouse. There's slaughterhouses in the middle of every major city. They're not just in the rural areas and the countryside where there's farms. There's indoor slaughterhouses. There's outdoor slaughterhouses. There's slaughterhouses on farms. There's slaughterhouses in the middle of urban areas. They're within a mile of where you live, anywhere you live, all over the whole earth. And you don't believe that that's a satanic fucking ritual that never ends? And then they're injecting them with bombardments of hormones meant for animals, not meant to ever be taken into people. It goes into people through the fucking quote-unquote food chain that is no food chain at all. It's a poison chain. And then it goes in through the discharge in dairy products. And people wonder why they're bodily fucked up. They're not just psychologically fucked up, they're bodily fucked up. They're physically fucked up. You're physically fucked up, you're biologically fucked up, you're psychologically fucked up, you're emotionally fucked up, you're mentally fucked up, and you're spiritually fucked up. And we look around in amazement, wondering, how did we get into this tyranny? What happened? I can't imagine. I don't know. I just can't put my fucking finger on it. It wouldn't be that Team Humanity is so fucking dumb that they actually allow themselves to continue to be poisoned, eating shit, and then wondering, how's my testosterone level the equivalent of a biological female? Testosterone is a vital hormone for the physiological and psychological health of both men and women. It's just as important to women as it is to men. Women need testosterone at the right levels. If theirs drops too low, they're in trouble. If theirs goes too high, they become masculinized. They want men feminized. They want women masculinized. And this is what the gender-bending hormones in food do. They interact differently in the endocrine system and the hormonal system of men and women. They drop testosterone in men. They raise it in women. Men get feminized. Women get masculinized. What the fuck do you think is going to be the result? Freedom? Prosperity? Order? Yeah. We're going to end up with all of them. Yeah. It'll just magically work itself out that way because we have no fucking respect for our own fucking bodies or the bodies of beings that their lives don't belong to us. We don't have respect for either one of those things. We don't have any fucking respect for the body of other beings because we don't have any fucking respect for ours. Testosterone could and should be seen as the quote will hormone. The will, the drive hormone. Low testosterone levels in either gender ultimately destroys vitality, and normal human sex drive is destroyed when testosterone levels are off. Your sex drive goes to shit. This is why most people don't have active, vital, healthy sex drives and sex lives. They're largely sexless beings with no desire for healthy sex. Pathetic what this society is when it comes to sexuality. We are quivering masses of deluded religious idiots. We're drugged, deluded religious children when it comes to any human health or human sexuality. That's literally what this population is. Deluded religious children. Drugged up religious children. When human drive and will and vitality and all of that gets lowered, that all acts as a means of population control and eugenics. Folks, this is not rocket science, folks. If you haven't been able to figure this the fuck out, you're a little slow on the uptake, is what I'm trying to tell you. I shouldn't even have to be explaining this. You should be putting fucking 2 and 2 together and coming up with 4. And you're not. This is why I have to go over this like the remedial class that fails every year. Because you're not paying attention. You think what you want to think. You think what you're comfortable with. You stay in your comfort zone. I don't hear anybody teaching this. Nobody. Especially connecting this with eugenics to weaken society and enslave it. No, they're only worried about, we got to get these testosterone levels so you can look good and attract a partner. When really what you're looking for as a partner is another happy slave who's comfortable and got a nice bank account. We're doing so well in our understanding to free ourselves from tyranny and enslavement. Team humanity all the way. If the testosterone level of a male is too low, sex drive is significantly diminished and overall vitality and masculine traits are greatly reduced. In other words, over time, the human male will become feminized with a lack of proper testosterone levels. And here are the influences of testosterone physically upon the body. When it comes to the skin, it helps with the growth of facial hair and body hair. It supports the creation of collagen, which is super important to healthy skin and hair. In the male sex organs, testosterone promotes sperm production, prostate health, erectile function. This is why so many guys have poor erectile function and sperm counts, because their testosterone's in the shitter because of what they fucking feed their fucking face with all day. Muscle mass and strength. You know, people are on me because I've trimmed down and lost some weight. You know, like I said, you want to challenge my strength, come and challenge my strength, and I'll show you how fucking strong I am. You know, I've trimmed down, admittedly, and I'm happy with the weight that I'm at. Maybe I want to gain 5 pounds, maybe 10 tops. Add a little bit of muscle, but I'm in a lean place where I feel energetic and good physically. And for people that think that that's somehow unhealthy, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about because you eat shit all day. Brain function. This is why most people can't fucking think right and have complete diluted and distorted thoughts bouncing around in the fucking shit for brains noggin in between their ears, you know, because their testosterone levels are fucked up. That has a lot to do with healthy brain function and healthy psychology. It has to do with sex drive, which the brain regulates. Again, sex drive, libido is in the shitter when people's testosterone levels are off. Positive feelings, good feelings, feelings of motivation, feelings of drive, feelings to get things done. You know, if you're depressed over dumb shit and selfish shit, it could have to do with a testosterone lack, you know. I feel negative feelings and anger and depression over the things that everybody should be angry and depressed about, which is the human condition. That is not because of any off levels regarding testosterone. Trust me, I've had my testosterone levels checked and they're just fine. Probably a little bit more toward the high side than completely normal. But there's nothing wrong with my testosterone levels. Check your own before you worry about other people's. And, cognition, memory, proper brain function, intellect, all of it. If your testosterone levels are fucked up, all of those things are going to be fucked up. They're going to be off as well. Your bone marrow, which has a lot to do with strength and vitality, red blood cell production, bone density and strength, etc. All related to healthy testosterone levels and function. And this is why they want our testosterone levels completely messed up, because they want weak people. They want people who are hideous on the outside as much as they're hideous on the inside. They want them to be sexless creatures with low sperm counts, low sex drive, low muscle mass, low strength, weak, low brain function, dumb, low emotions, apathetic, depressed, all of these things. This is epiogenics. They're doing it at a distance. They're putting gender-bending hormones in the fucking meat and dairy products and in other food items as well. And then that's destroying testosterone levels and making an entirely weak and gender-bent population. And we wonder why these things are going on. Because your satanic fucking masters of this whole planet understand how the human physiology functions. They know more about how your body and your mind function than your ignorant ass does. They're loading you up with fucking poison and telling you it's your food, and then you wonder why you're a dumb fucking lazy, cowardly, ignorant fool who gets slavery as a result of how you are. I can't imagine how this is happening. How did we get to this place in society? How did slavery become the human condition? How are we surrounded by weak, low-life, Apathetic, ignorant, cowardly fools. I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with you are what you eat. Maybe I can think at the level I can think at and see all these things and put them into fucking structure for people to understand because I clean myself up out of this condition. No, it can't be that, Mark. God forbid that we stop fucking touching the fucking animal kingdom and leave them the fuck alone and try to clean up the human domain. No, we gotta have endless slaughterhouses going 24-7 for Satan. You don't think fucking slaughterhouses and animal farming is a satanic ritual? You're delusional, and it's probably because your testosterone levels are fucked up. And all you gotta do is take a look. The proof's in the pudding. Is somebody a driven, fucking active, healthy, well-intentioned, truly knowledgeable being? Or are they fucked up? Are they apathetic? Are they cowardly? Are they not doing what they're supposed to be doing? Just take a look around us, and you'll see what the condition really is. And there's no signs of that changing. It's getting worse and worse. Women are no exception to this rule when it comes to this eugenics war on testosterone. Women also require testosterone, although in smaller amounts than men. If lacking in this hormone, women become overly feminized, depressed, weaker in overall strength and vitality, and their sex drive is usually completely destroyed. If women have too much testosterone, they become dominators, they become super, on edge, super pushy, wanting to constantly be the controller. They become overly masculinized, like a toxically masculine man. This idea of toxic masculinity being what masculinity is nonsense. It's part of the agenda. But there is true toxic masculinity. There is, men wanting to be that pushy, bossy alpha male that tells everybody what to do. And I can't be wrong, and I can do no wrong, and I'm the leader, and I want to push the woman I'm near around, like a dominator. Symptoms of low testosterone in women include poor tolerance for exercise, dry skin, thinning skin, loss of drive and motivation, loss of muscle tone, loss of bone density, weight gain around the abdomen, which a lot of women, especially as they get older, all get because of their testosterone level being low. Depression, anxiety, again, it'll do that in men and women if it's too low. More common symptoms of low testosterone, anxiety. And again, lots of people in our society, anxious, always wanting to run away, never wanting to confront a problem, never wanting to deal with hardship, never wanting to fucking hear what makes them uncomfortable. Those are signs of anxiety. That means low testosterone. People with that should get their testosterone levels checked because they're probably all fucked up. Mood swings, hot flashes, low or no sex drive, accumulation of fat in their body. They lose lean muscle mass and they gain a lot of fat. And this is what most people they accept as, that's normal with aging, Mark. No, it's because a war on this vital will and drive hormone is going on, a war on testosterone, and in your ignorance, you fell victim to it. That is not just the normal trajectory as someone gets older. Okay? So, all of these things, if you have them, you should probably look into your testosterone levels, get them checked, and make sure they're at the place that they should be. More likely than not, you are going to find out that they're very low. I see this with just about everybody who I know who has ever actually gotten them medically checked. Their testosterone is low. That is because of this deliberate war in the epigenetics domain upon humanity that is directly connected with neo-feminism and the satanic epi-eugenics agenda. One of the big parts of it is destroy the testosterone levels in people, because higher testosterone levels mean that, number one, men and women, if they're at the right place with their testosterone levels, are going to be driven. They're going to be motivated. They're going to be healthy. They're going to be strong. And they're going to want to fight back against tyranny. They're not going to want to be enslaved. If you lower their testosterone level in men and women, they're depressed, they're weak, they're anxious, they don't want to learn, their psychology is fucked up, their by extension, their spirituality gets all fucked up, and they end up being willing slaves that are easy to lead around by the fucking nose, easy to lead around by a fucking leash. This is the game that the masters of this reality play. And they're not fucking playing, you know? You could say, oh yeah, this is how they play their game. This is how they wage their war. It's not a game to them. It's a war. They're waging it. They're doing what's required, and they're winning. They're winning. We're not winning. See, this is what Team Humanity wants to tell us. We're winning! Ralph, tell the folks what's going on. We're winning! Yay! We're winning! You didn't hear, folks? You didn't hear the good news? We're winning! Yeah, we're winning. We're winning. Nice, clean, thicker, stronger chains, baby. That's what we're winning. We're cleaning those chains up. We're shining them. We're getting all the rust off. They're bright silver. The sun's reflecting on those chains. We made them fatter, stronger. They're weightier. They're beefy chains, man. We love our chains. Team Humanity loves its chains, baby. And Ralph knows better than anybody because we're winning. We are winning, baby. Yeah, we're winning. You're going to win the prize Ralph is trying to dig out. That's what you're winning. You're going to win that prize. You ain't going to win freedom. So, very seriously study and look into testosterone and what it really does for the human body and motivation and drive, and you'll understand why the epigenetic elitists and social conditioners of our world want it destroyed in the human population. Makes their job easier. Across the board, modern medical doctors have seen a disturbing trend of testosterone levels plummeting significantly for both genders. Instead of alerting people to this fact and trying to understand why this is actually happening, the whole medical industry has been deliberately reducing the levels of testosterone that are considered normal for both genders in medical testing and literature. This is like when a disaster with radiation happens, and instead of actually measuring the levels of radiation with a Geiger counter and measuring the Roentgens that are present and then telling people this is very toxic and dangerous, they just go into the books and they lower the level. They scratch out the level of accepted radiation in parts per million in the air, particles, and they put in a new number. They just write down a new number, and then that's suddenly safe. You know, this is what the food industry does. Oh, there's this many toxic pollutants in food. Oh, well, we'll just have the experts who are gauging the safety. We'll scratch that number out. We'll put a much lower or much higher number in and say, you can take that. Your kidneys can take that. Your bloodstream can take that. Your arteries can take that. And just put that in the food. You know, don't worry about it. It's the same thing with this. The doctors just scratch out in the existing literature, oh, your testosterone levels don't need to be that high. And then you just fill in a lower number, and you're already there, and they say, that's healthy, that's normal. It doesn't need to be raised. They're lying sacks of shit. Almost everybody in the fucking medical industry are ignorant, lying sacks of shit. All they give a fuck about is a paycheck and 2 Lexuses in the garage. That's all they give a fuck about. They want to live in their fucking McMansion in fucking, out in the fucking, rural areas and just, have a couple of fucking high-end cars out in the garage that cost $100,000 each and just tell everybody a bunch of bullshit that keeps their paycheck rolling in. You're not doctors. You're not health practitioners. You're not people who give a fuck about other people. You're worshipers of the fucking dollar. Losers. You're trash losers in wrong livelihood. You're trash losers in wrong livelihood. You don't give a fuck about people. You give a fuck about money, loser. And very few ever come out of that satanic mindset and prove me wrong. Very, very few ever do. Because they're attached to that fucking paycheck, and whatever my overlords tell me to fucking write, I write down. I back. I fucking tell the people that. You're lying sacks of murderous shit. And you always have been. And the problem is, your loser, low-life family members won't tell you what you are. They'll pat you on the back because you bring home a big paycheck, you fucking animal loser. You're a fucking loser, fucking animal consciousness. That's what everybody who takes a fucking immoral job for a living is. You're a loser fucking animal. There's a billion ways that they fucking constantly are warring on human sexuality and testosterone. Street drugs, GMO products, foods laden with fucking bullshit, toxins of all kinds, refined sugars, fake sugars, artificial sweeteners, hormones injected into so-called food, which is just injecting it into tortured animals that we then eat, the toxins and their tortured fear. That energy goes into us. They're putting gender-bending hormones and halogens in water supply through fluoride and hydrofluosilicic acid, which is one of the most toxic compounds to the bones and nervous system of mankind. BPA, but bisphenol A in plastics and inks. The attack on people's minds and psychology through SSRI, the selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor drugs, and SNRI, selective norepinephrine reuptake inhibitor drugs. These are what I call the demon drugs. They literally modify the range of human emotions such that you can't feel what you need to feel. I have family members on these things for decades and decades, and when they wean off of them for a little while, they say, I'm feeling things I don't want to feel. I'm feeling all this negativity coming up in me and anger, and I'm saying things to people that I wouldn't have said a year or two ago. And I'm like, yeah, that's normal. That's called being human. That's called telling people what you should tell them. Instead of suppressing all those emotions that you say you consider negative and you don't want to feel. Instead of feeling them and expressing them and doing the right thing regarding them, you're just making a chemical agent bury them down inside of you. That's a great idea. Really smart. I think you might have won the Team Humanity medal. You might have won Team Humanity's gold, maybe silver, I don't know. But, you're right up there. The point I'm making here is this is an endless hamster wheel that they have people on. This is a run and go nowhere agenda that people actually think any of these institutional bodies, the medical industry, the food industry, drugs, pharmaceuticals, etc., that they're trying to do anything to help you, to build your health, to build your strength, to build your vitality. They want your drive, your will, your sexuality, your libido destroyed. That is where you have to start murdering a population with soft kill methods. Direct eugenics can be seen. This is epigenetics, epi-eugenics. This is killing the population through things that you do to them at a distance. Hence, it goes beyond direct eugenics and goes to epi-eugenics. The term that I coined, that is the whole point of this entire series. What I'm trying to get you to understand on this slide is that this is full spectrum dominance warfare. This doesn't come at you from one angle. It comes at you from an endless array of angles and attacks. It's full spectrum dominance warfare. That if you're not smart enough and you haven't studied these dynamics enough, you're going to get hit from a million different angles with all your shields down. This is like a fleet of Romulan warbirds surrounding one Federation ship, and they all fire on at the same time with the shields down. What the fuck do you think's going to happen in that Star Trek analogy? Well, the Enterprise is going bye-bye. That's what's going to happen, and that's you, and that's your fucking children. You see? But again, that can't happen to us because we're Team Humanity!
That was bullshit.
Yep, that's exactly what it is. That's what people want to tell themselves all day long and believe it. We're winning. This isn't happening to us. We're too smart for that. We're too strong for that. We couldn't have gotten duped like that. And we're going to keep eating and drinking the same shit. We're going to keep taking the same fucking pills. Because if they got approved by the FDA and the AMA, they got to be safe for us. Don't you know? Wouldn't be on the shelf if it could do harm to your body and mind. No. Couldn't be. Couldn't be. You know how many people out there are just dumb fucking mud for brain monkeys out there? You're mud for brain monkeys that think that way. Right in the freedom movement. The atrocity of what people put into their bodies, even within the freedom movement. Hey folks, I go out, I have a couple of beers here and there, I don't always eat perfectly healthy every day. It's what you do most of the time that matters, But let me tell you something. I don't put that kind of toxic junk in my body. Another thing that we have less control over is what they're spraying on us and what they're bombarding the field of energy all around us with. 5G, cell phone waves, HAARP, which is radionic heating of the atmosphere, and the ionosphere, the chemtrail spraying operations, which they call geoengineering or stratospheric injection. There's a million different scientific names for it, but they've been doing it for years and years. The people out there in the freedom community are still insistent that this is water vapor trails. When they spray them, they lay them down at altitudes that water vapor cannot condense into ice crystals, morons. Like, you don't even understand that you're not meteorologists, and you don't even understand the basic chemistry behind it. You don't understand temperature, altitude, and condensation. That's how dumb people are. Like, you need to study those fucking things and how they actually work. These people are laying these fucking particulate matter trails at 8,000, 9,000, 10,000 feet. Ice crystal condensation trails can't even form at those altitudes. The air is not fucking cold enough for that to happen. And this is what you have from people who should know fucking better. You're not a meteorologist. Don't quit your fucking day job. Even the meteorologists aren't this fucking smart. They're just as fucking dumb as the average Joe Schmo member of the fucking population that doesn't want to believe that they're spraying particulate matters of poison in the alkaloid earth metal family that's coming down to the earth and fucking alkalizing soil, thus poisoning our food supply by reducing the nutritional density that the food can ever reach. You're making less nutritionally dense food grow in the same land area, in the same square mileage of land, same square footage of land. Because nutrient-dense food doesn't grow in alkali soil. It needs to have fucking slightly acidic soil on the pH scale for it to have nutrient density in the food that grows. This is simple. This is farming 101 that is so simple that every fucking farmer on the earth who has ever lived should understand this. But the average member of the population, why would they be spraying alkaloids on our food, Mark? Because, moron, they want you fucking not healthy. They don't want you to have nutritionally dense food. They don't want that to be able to grow in the abundance that it once did. And so you get sick, or then you try to put more food into your body because it's low nutritional density and you get fucking fat. They want you fat, sick, unhealthy, and eventually dead. That's what eugenics is, morons. That's what it is. And you're too stupid to understand your fucking master's plan of attack. Moreover than that, they got you on all the fucking media that you consume. You know? They have people hooked on all the fucking mainstream media, bombarding their minds with it all day. You want to talk about how they color people's view of sexuality? I need a big church on this slide, is what I should have put first on it, through religion, through magazines, newspapers, television, media, radio personalities, celebrities, pornography, etc. They want to color it in the negative way in every possible way that they can. And look, I don't even care if people want to watch pornographic images. It's not necessarily like, oh, I'm puritanical about it. I'm saying most people get completely and utterly hooked on it to the point where they can't even sexually interact if it's, lacking, if it's absent. Or they get into actual, real, serious perversions when it comes to pornography that they consume. Then it goes into things like, child fetishes and other bizarre, strange fetishes and mind states. So it's about moderation. But when it comes to the cults of celebrity, Hollywood, the mainstream media, all the kinds of sick, twisted shit of mind control and social engineering that they put in mostly women's magazines. It's a bombardment of poison for the mind. It's not just poison for the body, epigenetics. Epigenetics is a poisoning of the body and mind at a distance. You don't need to go up and put a shot in someone's arm, even though that's another method of attack, is vaccines, which are laughingly called vaccines. They're nothing of the kind. It's another form of eugenics. It's another psyop operation that is eugenics directly. That's direct eugenics. They're literally physically putting something into you and doing it with your tacit consent. Epi-eugenics is they're putting things into you at a distance, like spraying on you, like putting radiotics into the atmosphere, like poisoning the soil, like doing it through drugs, doing it through food, doing it through water supplies, doing it through the air. This is another form of epigenetics. They're putting information into your mind, poisoning the worldview. It's all attacks at a distance. This is why the healing of the worldview has to come first before you can heal anything else. If any other thing is still in a state of imbalance or still in a state of deficit of knowledge and a deficit of balance, it means the worldview hasn't been healed. The worldview has to be healed first. That's what shadow work accomplishes. You have to heal the psychology in order to heal anything else. If the psyche is damaged, everything that flows from that becomes damaged and poisoned. The mind is all. That is the first principle of natural law. It's the first hermetic principle of the occult. Everything is mind. Everything flows from the state of mind. If the state of mind is fucked up, everything that manifests as a result of the state of mind being fucked up will also be fucked up. You can't heal anything in the external domain until you heal factors in the internal domain. That's why you got to clean your mind up. You got to clean your body up. You got to clean your worldview up. And most people aren't doing this. Folks, I'm not guessing. This isn't guesswork. I interact with a lot of people to see where people are at. And I'm never not disappointed. I mean, I'm always disappointed. I never once am I like super impressed. Look, occasionally when I find somebody who's going to be a good fit on the One Great Work Network, or maybe somebody who really went all the way, they took my class, they really learned how to become a content creator, then they did it. We have some people like that. That's such an enormous rarity. It is so few and far between that happens. I am continuously exposed to the state of consciousness that is completely prevalent all throughout all of humanity. I do not shy away from it, although I really do want to be insulated from the dumber of that population, the dumbest of the dumb. You know, I really need people like that kept away from me, especially the kind of people that just fucking want to insist that they're right and have enough knowledge when they absolutely don't have the data in hand at all that they need to understand. They don't have it in any quantity at all. Zero. People like that, if you want to spout your mouth, you need to do it away from me. You know? And I'm not going to come out and air this laundry publicly right now, at least. I'm not ready to do something like that. I just want to say, for the people wondering about the situation that I've been dealing with personally, that I've alluded to many weeks in a row, it has not gotten any better. And again, if I have to take another hiatus from broadcasting, it will be because of a family health issue that is ongoing and has gotten far worse, but not only far worse from the health perspective, but this ignorance dynamics perspective that has really gone to a point where I have to put myself away from it, because if I don't, there will be a blow up. And I don't want that to happen when it's already a bad enough situation as it is. And it's like, that makes me even more sad, psychologically, feeling like there's never a moment of mercy. There's never a moment of fucking mercy. You're dealing with a situation that's already bad enough, and then somebody just comes along and says, oh, that's a nice little fire you got going. Here, let me dump some gasoline on top of it. See how you like that. Never a second of fucking mercy, even 1 second. It's got to be exacerbated. It's got to be added on to. It has to be pushed even further when it's already psychologically draining and demanding enough. That's not good enough. We have to dump more gasoline on top of what's already a practical inferno. And so when it gets to that point, unless I must deal with it, I go my way. You know, there is a point where the tank of patience gets emptied and there is no replenishment of it. And that's when I have to put myself away. I have to walk away from it, at least for a while. And that's a shame. That's a shame because, you know what? People will say, oh, you should be the bigger man. Wrong. They should be the bigger person by cleaning up the ignorance that has been accumulating their whole lives and learn a thing or two about a thing or two, because you had the time to do it and you just dicked around and didn't do it. You just dicked around and dicked around and dicked around and dicked around, and you just didn't fucking do what was required of you to do. And again, I still ask for people, you know, send some positive thoughts, and if you want prayers, you know, in this direction about that situation. But what it is it's the same exact thing that we have here. It's the complete bombardment of human thought into total distorted thought forms. If you want to look for rituals, you don't need to look for Bohemian Grove or 9/11 or COVID or whatever. You need to look for the 100% continuous everyday rituals. They're far more prevalent. What puts negative information and thought forms out into the world more than all the distorted media of the mainstream media and the control system? All of their television, all of their fucking propaganda, their medical industry, their magazines, their newspapers, their celebrities, etc. All speaking lies 24/7, all bombarding people with endless fucking lies, nonstop, every second of every day. You want to look for satanic ritual? That's satanic ritual. That's what I call the continuous satanic ritual. See, we're obsessed with, when's the next big satanic ritual being trotted out, Mark? What's coming for the season of sacrifice? Well, guess what? You better look for the continuous rituals that are all around you every day in your culture that you don't even see as rituals. How about all the animal slaughter that goes on every single day? How about every news broadcast? You don't think that's what they're doing? Casting a spell. That's why it's called a cast. This is a different form of a broadcast. It's casting a positive spell. It's trying to undo their negative spell that they're casting every second. You fight the epi-eugenics war with the opposite form of energy. And we're trying to do epi-eugenics as well. I want to do indirect action upon another person to influence them, to strengthen themselves, to strengthen their will, to become more knowledgeable, to become resistant against this kind of attack, to get the shields up so that the ships that fire on you from a multitude of angles don't all hit you with your shields down. Don't you guys get it? It is about fighting fire with fire. It is about fighting spells with other kind of spells. This is what magic is. Magic is action at a distance, change, and influence. If you don't understand that, you haven't been listening to a word I fucking said since day one. And most of you haven't, because you're not doing it. You're sitting back, watching and listening when you should be actively doing the behavior. And most of you are not. You're not transitioning it into being activated. Sitting and listening and listening and listening and listening is not activating. Anybody, any fucking dumb trained monkey could do that. And sadly, that is most of what Team Humanity is. They're dumb, trained monkeys that have been trained to sit on their fucking lard asses and do nothing, and then complain about people who are doing something. Mark, you should talk about... Hold on. Let's ask Team Humanity. Team Humanity. Yes? What do you think I should talk about? Mark, you should talk about all the stuff that we tell you should say every week when we send you emails, and then you never bring those things up on the show because you say changing our minds and then helping other people to change their minds is the solution. But we know all the things you're not saying and that we want to see is the solution, and so you must be a CIA agent because you won't talk about those things. And we don't want to get our own shows and talk about it. We want to make you talk about it, or we want to tell everybody you're an agent. Team Humanity out! It's that bad. It's actually that bad where we are at. Oh boy, that is comic gold. And as the saying goes, it's funny 'cause it's true. That's the truth of the matter. That's why it's funny. So we need to wage an epigenetics campaign for the right reasons and undo their spells through broadcasting that they're putting on people through broadcasting. Here's one that's very difficult for most people to understand, and sorry about that. And when I originally delivered it, folks, I do not think that this was received and understood properly. It's why I'm redelivering this presentation in such a slowed down, extended format. People don't understand what I'm calling the familial dynamic. This does not have to be a nuclear family. It could take the form of a nuclear family or any other kind of family unit, but it does not have to be that. That is just one expression of the socio-familial dynamic in nature. Okay? This is bonding between individuals. It's socio-sexual bonding dynamic within the entire framework of a given culture. This is what's being attacked and destroyed. They want everyone atomized. They want everybody alone. They want everyone isolated and looking at it like it's me against everybody else. The attack upon the natural sexual familial dynamic, okay, what I'm calling the socio-sexual dynamic in nature, in our society, the bonding dynamic that happens physically through people to strengthen the bonds between them. And this is through, again, socio-sexual interaction and dynamics that I call the familial dynamic. Notice, I am not saying the family dynamic. The familial dynamic and the family dynamic are two distinct and separate things. And I'm not saying the family dynamic isn't important as well. It is. But I am going above the family. And I'm talking about the familial dynamic. Or you could look at it as I'm going deeper than the family. It's foundationally deeper. Family is built upon familial. Then familial has to be built upon relationship to the truth first and foremost. Care for the truth and relation to the truth. Then on top of that, you build the familial dynamic. And then on top of that, you build the family dynamic. The familial dynamic is what I'm talking about that they're destroying. And they're trying to destroy that because if you build on top of that, you're building on very firm, solid foundational framework. Whereas if you take that out of the equation, the only thing you got to take out of the equation next, which is a lot easier if you destroy the familial dynamic, is someone's care for truth and justice. Because if you don't have socio-sexual bonding between individual members of a society, most of them don't really care what happens in that society. They don't care if the society goes to hell in a handbasket. They don't care if everybody becomes enslaved because they have no social glue that's acting as the bonding dynamic of the entire society. The attack upon the natural sexual familial dynamic tremendously destabilizes the ability for people to establish firm foundations and health in relationships, morality, health, and real education. Entire industries thrive on this societal disease. What do you think? Hospitals don't thrive on that? You don't think psychologists in most cases or psychiatrists don't thrive on that? You don't think the court system thrives on that? You don't think the medical industry? You don't think the pharmaceutical industry? All of it thrives on the destruction of this dynamic. Because the more weak society is, the more they profit. And that's all they're about. They're not making anybody stronger or better. They just want more money flowing into their fucking coffers. True moral values can be devastated through the destroyed familial dynamic due to the lack of proper parenting. That's where it starts. The familial dynamic is going to start when there already exists a healthy familial bonding between man and woman in a family dynamic. And when they have children, because men and women have children, men and men don't have children, women and women don't have children. Children are biologically brought into the world through the union of men and women. Biologically, that's the fact. Okay? So when parents fail at their job to instill a true value system into the child, the familial dynamic societally gets weakened across the board. This is what I've been trying to explain to people, and all they hear is the word family. Family, family, family. I am talking about familial bonding. That means bonding between men, women, even, okay, you can even have same-sex bonding. I'm not attacking that. I'm largely referring to this as the male-female bond in society, which is the strongest because when it reaches a culmination, it usually manifests and brings forward a child, which is the future dynamic. And if the parents don't have a relationship with truth and nature and a true value system, which is relation to source, then they fail in their job as a parent, and then they weaken the whole socio-familial dynamic all across the culture. Don't hear what you want to hear. I got a lot of feedback about this when I originally gave this lecture, and people insist and think that I'm only talking about the nuclear family or just families in general. Don't hear what you want to hear. Hear the concept that is actually being explained. It's the familial dynamic, which is bonding between men and women culturally and socially. It's not just about the family with children in it. Once the familial dynamic proceeds, it eventually does usually produce a family dynamic. If it's not a strong familial dynamic, the family dynamic is dysfunctional. It's weakened, it's dysfunctional, it usually results in breakup, it usually results in bad parenting, it usually results in trauma of the children, which I'm depicting here. Children raised with little to no moral values eventually develop a different quote-unquote value system grafted upon them by the school system, the mainstream media, popular entertainment, Hollywood, their peers, etc., who have often gone through a similar process of moral degradation because of their own lack of the familial dynamic through parenting. Do you see how this is a progressive viral disease that just keeps snowballing and snowballing and is exacerbated by all of these worldly institutions that are deliberately trying to weaken and destroy it? You gotta be a step ahead of these people. You gotta be stronger than that. Eventually, with these weakened dynamics all throughout the social structure, the only thing that eventually gets raised up as paramount is money. Money becomes the only value system, and more than that, it becomes the god of the culture. And that's where we're at. That's where we've arrived at because of the destruction of the familial cohesive dynamic, and because of, as a result of that, what has happened to actual families and what parenting has resulted in. Which, hey, once again, the proof's in the pudding. You only need to look around at society and see how well parents have done at the only fucking job they had. Yeah, they've made money the god of themselves and their children. And once again, I'm going to go back to this dynamic. Neo-feminism and the epi-eugenics agenda is ultimately about epigenetically breeding anger, specifically the sacred form of anger, the righteous form of anger, righteous indignation about injustice, and about the destruction of morality and the destruction of our rights. They want to breed that out of human society, epigenetically. This is part of what I talked about in my New Age bullshit series of presentations. This was New Age deception number 2, called Never Get Angry. Conditioned women are being engineered to reject all forms of the emotion of anger, even if it's a righteous indignation form of anger, or what I call sacred anger, when displayed by a male. Really, when displayed by any sex, either of the genders, okay? They don't care who is expressing it, a male or a female. As soon as they encounter anger, they want to be completely out of there. They want to shut off. They want to dismiss what's being said if it comes out with any anger emotion. They don't care why the person is angry. They don't care whether they have a perfectly valid and just reason for being angry. If anger is expressed, their immediate programming and conditioning kicks in and says, I don't want to listen to any part of that. That's invalid. That has no purpose or reason for being expressed. And until it's put out in a stoic and calm fashion, I will not listen. You're a conditioned moron. Satanists carved you up. They opened you up. They went in with a knife. They cut a fucking piece of you out and they put it in a garbage disposal and ground it down to dust, and you'll never get it back. You're broken and you have something missing that's needed and necessary inside of you, and now it's fucking broken and gone. And you're less than a being. You're less, you've become an automaton as a result. You're less than a conscious being as a result of having that robbery of something so sacred taken from you, stolen from you. They stole it out from under your unwatchful ass. You were asleep and someone went inside of you and tore something out from the inside of you. And you're fucking broken as a result. And you won't do the shadow work to fucking examine what's been broken and put it back in order. You won't sit with yourself and ask yourself the right questions and answer them with the hard fucking truth and be fucking hard on yourself and do what's required to get yourself raised back up into a fucking position of actual power and decency and strength. No. Now, you want to point fingers externally and say, he shouldn't be so angry. You sound like Team Humanity is what you sound like. From a very early age, conditioned women are taught the New Age deception that anger is an invalid emotion that human beings, especially men, should not openly display. This notion that if a guy's angry, that's somehow a feminine trait. I've actually heard this fucking bullshit nonsense. Any guy that gets angry about anything is expressing a feminine trait. You're a fucking moron. That's a feminine trait. How about that? Stick that feminine trait up your ass and spin on it several thousand fucking times, moron. No, righteous anger is a masculine trait because it drives right action. Bullshit anger, you want to know what a big a big feminine trait is? You want to know what like real super pussy fucking ignoramus bullshit feminine aspect is? Here it is. My team lost! I don't know how I'm gonna go on! My team got beat! We got beat! Hold on, let me see if I can express this anger here. Hold on. We lost! We lost! We got beat in the big game! We lost! That's feminine, morons. That's a man who's some dumb fucking pussy. That's what you're angry about. That's what you think anger's for, you fucking pussy. Sports quack. We lost. You're soft. We lost and I'm soft. Yeah. That's where we're at socially. No, righteous anger should be on display. Sports quack anger, on the other hand, shows how much of a fucking moronic, very feminine pussy you are. Of course, this tactic is used to suppress righteous indignation toward the iniquities that are actually taking place in our world so that the powers that be can go on ruling unchallenged. That's why they want women to look at a guy who's angry about the actual, real, important stuff that all people should be angry about in society and say, oh, why is he expressing such feminine anger? That's such a feminine trait. You know what you're expressing? Slave think. That's the trait that you're expressing. They got your fucking mind. They got it on a fucking stick, and they're passing it around on a fucking stick like a fucking dessert. That's where they got your mind. That's how owned it is. And they're like, let's put it in a plastic bag and save it for later. That's literally how much they got your fucking mind. They got it on a stick and they could put it in a Ziploc bag. Lincoln said, you can tell the greatness of a man by what makes him angry. And I'm not putting him up on a pedestal. I'm just saying it's a very appropriate quote. You know, that if you're angry about dumb shit, you're probably a dumb shit. If you're angry about what's really important to get angry about, you probably really understand yourself and what's going on. Folks, that's about all the time we're going to have for this edition of What on Earth is Happening. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you right here, same time, same place next week for part 12.